This is Josiah Plays Dungeons & Dragons. This is Beneath the Yawning Portal, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, a 5th edition heavy RP D&D campaign. With me are my players, some of them, Will, Knox, and Tiff. Hello, Will, Knox, and Tiff. We are ready to go here. So, we're going to start with the ceremonial reading of the recap, which this time is pretty lengthy. I can go ahead and read it, unless you really want to, Knox.
That's fine.
Alright, here we go. Session 17. This is session 18, but this is what happened in session 17. With Katrin having been restored, everyone in the party drank the substance that would make them immune to the gift. Durnan called Sardick over, seeming to be mildly interested in their adventures thus far, before reminding him of his 2-dragon debt for storing the noble. Sardick counteroffered with a way to bring in supplies, which placated Durnan for the time being. Continuing into the kitchen, Sardick informed Arlo Butterbarrel and his assistant to have some containers ready for a shipment of divine food supplies to be delivered after his waking. With the party all gathered around a table, Katrin suggested gathering in one of the rooms and having a meeting about their intentions, which was agreed upon. As they spoke, Maloon Wardragon was just coming down the stairs into the bar after having a nice long nap. He was quite happy to see the party had made it back into the tavern and joined them at their table. Again, Roscoe felt that strange feeling of being in the presence of something in the far realms, but having encountered bugbears inhabited by intellect devourers in the dungeon, he knew it was exactly the case in this instance. Maloon clapped each of them on their back and called for an overabundance of drinks for them, as he had done before. Asking their group name, the party didn't know what to say, but Ara quickly called them the Pun Squad, which he thought was quite odd. Once they were with drink, Maloon asked them about the Undertakers, which Sardick described as a group of vampires led by a master. Roscoe added that some of them, those other than Brother, Sister, and the Master, seemed to be fake vampires, and Ara remembered that they had seen a total of 6 Undertakers altogether. As Maloon pressed for more information, they admittedly answered that they hadn't gone much past their entry room, so they couldn't speak about the extent of their members. He also seemed annoyed to hear about the destruction of the Bugbear Outpost, saying that Force Grey is only interested in the Undertaker activity. As he introduced himself to Azar and reinforced his interest in the Undertakers and their goals, Roscoe left for a moment, returning with the ability to detect Maloon's thoughts. Azar felt that something was off about Maloon and that some of his reactions were fake. Roscoe turned the conversation to the intellect devourers inhabiting some of the bugbears they had killed, and Sardick described his faith-based immunity to them, allowing Roscoe to hear his thoughts about the Dwarven Fool, that it doesn't work like that, faith cannot stop us, and that he wished he could consume everyone's mind right now. The conversation continued to the amount of intellect devourers and bugbear outposts they destroyed, which provoked angry thoughts of swearing that the Hathor Guild will have its revenge on these cursed adventurers. Maloon ended the conversation soon after, saying that the party looked tired. They should get their rest and really investigate the Undertakers in the morning. The Pun Squad, yeah. Walking away, it was obvious that Roscoe was not looking well. Ara reproachfully asked him if he had read the book again, and Katrin had them go to an empty room as Roscoe started nervously babbling about his experience reading Maloon's thoughts. Inside the room, Roscoe explained what he heard and concluded that Maloon was definitely inhabited by an intellect devourer, and Azar backed him up with his suspicions that something was wrong with him, turning quickly to Sardick and urging him to use the ability to protect someone from evil to drive the creature out of him. Ara quickly interjected that ejecting an intellect devourer into a well-populated tavern was not a good idea, and wanted to march down and warn Durnan immediately. Sardick warned against it, saying that what he knew of Durnan's personality through his dealings with him, he would not respond kindly to such an accusation, more than likely attributing it to the wild ramblings of some upstart band of adventurers that he barely knew. Instead, he suggested enlisting the help of others in the tavern that had the ability to detect evil, such as Wicked Wild, to confirm its presence and thereby back up their claims. Midge and Katrin suggested leaving it alone for now, as Maloon wasn't harming anyone for the time being and would probably be placated as long as the Undertaker investigation were to be carried out. The conversation continued back and forth a bit, with Midge wanting to keep the Intellect Devourer around to get information from it about the Xanathar Guild. It devolved into Azar attempting to explain the nature of Intellect Devourers, and Ara swiftly cutting him off each time, becoming increasingly annoyed when he mentioned her drowness and Devourers in the Underdark. Katrin interjected at this point, asking about Roscoe's ability to detect thoughts and declaring that she didn't want him in her head, to which Roscoe promised he wouldn't go in any of their minds, as he trusts them. Somehow, this change in topic prompted them to galvanize a plan. Sardick and Midge would speak with Wicked Wild, and Ara and Roscoe would speak with Romalia Haventree, who she had a small bit of dealing with before, and meet up and speak with Durnan. Azar remained behind with Katrin, who wanted nothing to do with another Intellect Devourer, with the intent to learn what the group had encountered thus far. Descending into the tavern again, Sardick and Midge went to Wicked Wild and explained the situation, mentioning that a certain patron by the bar was possessed by an Intellect Devourer. Sardick hoped to pique her interest by keeping it vague, but Wicked Wild didn't understand why he simply couldn't do it himself. Sardick explained that the proof would still be based on his own detection, and explained that she has clout with Durnan, as he had called her over and was satisfied with her assessment of his ability to gently repose the corpse of the noble. Understanding this, terrible words were uttered. She decided to let Lady Luck decide if she would assist. Doomed to play pickpocket again, with an advantage of only needing to win one game to her two. The ease of catching the purse didn't even matter, as Sardick promptly rolled right into the watch both times. Sighing, he turned to Midge and suggested going to Obaya Uday instead, which they did. Explaining the situation again, it was disappointing to Sardick that yet another of his station had a stipulation attached to their assistance. Despite his attempts, she insisted upon a trade for Joaquin, and so he surrendered his dead shipmate Kazran's old hand mirror to her for her help. At her asking, Sardick ruefully explained the circumstances that he had acquired the mirror, and, satisfied, she began the ritual. Meanwhile, Ara and Roscoe ascended to the third tier, getting strange looks from many of the nobles, especially in Roscoe's direction, and they sat at Romalia Haventree's table. Ara explained to her that they were concerned about a tavern patron being possessed by an Intellect Devourer, revealing that it was Maloon as she responded with interest. Ara prompted Roscoe to explain how he knew, which he nervously attempted to do, arousing her suspicions slightly. Regardless, she explained that it was an easy matter for her to detect this, simply casting the spell outright and descending into the tavern. Back in the room, Azar explained to Katrin how the group he was in, the Fine Fellows of Daggerford, had their inner conflicts and split up, after which he was beset upon by goblins and thrown in a pit, prompting Katrin to ask if he was like Roscoe, who has a history of falling in pits. Katrin similarly introduced herself, telling him this was a good group, and apologized in advance if Valgara decided to possess his body for a short time. Azar talked about his arcane interests and explained that no, his wasn't really a blaster like Ara, but more of a battlefield manipulator, but that retrieving his spellbook would greatly improve his utility, with visions of changing Katrin into a fearsome dragon. Returning to the third tier, Romalia Haventree confirmed Maloon's condition, and that she discreetly spoke with Durnan, backing up the claim that they would be coming to him with. Her ritual also detected a malevolent force coming from Roscoe's book, who stammered that everything was fine. Ara looked at him suspiciously, asking if he really had it under control, because at the moment it did not look that way. Romalia agreed to not mention the book to anyone as long as Roscoe was able to keep control of it, but she would be keeping an eye on him. As the group prepared to speak with Durnan, Sardick was still in difficulties as he tried distracting Obaya Uday from her obvious standing behind Maloon and staring at him, directing her instead to the owl curio on the nearby wall. Fortunately, Maloon didn't seem to notice any of this, and she headed toward Durnan, where Ara and Roscoe were already headed. The situation grew even more tense as Durnan drew his huge greatsword and headed into the basement to talk things over, the others following. Frightened, Ara blurted out that Maloon has an intellect devourer in his head, which Durnan ended up being forced to believe with the agreement of Ramalia Pryor and Obaya Ude standing there confirming it. He went back up to the bar and returned with Maloon, with Midge following behind. There, in the basement, Durnan explained to the creature that it would not be leaving the basement alive, and interrogated it. He revealed that it had been in control of Maloon for quite a while, and with Roscoe again sensing its thoughts, discovered that the Xanathar Guild has essentially taken over Skullport. When it resisted further attempts at mental intrusion, Durnan simply cleaved Maloon's head and dispatched the Intellect Devourer as it appeared. Does somebody just... Oh! Ara just joined the Roll20. Nice.
Yay.
Where was I? He cleaved his head.
Cleaved off Durnan, yeah.
And dispatched the Intellect Devourer as it appeared. Sardick began to try convincing Durnan to allow him to keep his body in the basement until he could do something, but was pleasantly surprised that he was already considering striking a deal with Wicked Wild to restore his old friend, and appreciatively decided not to charge him for storing the noble anymore. Sardick took Maloon's body and propped it up next to the noble, beginning the ritual of gently reposing him, as Roscoe asked Durnan if he had heard about Carcosa in his adventures in the labyrinth. The word struck a chord of memory with him, but he couldn't quite remember specifics, saying that he would have to think upon it before being able to answer. Having returned to the room with the intent to drink all those tankards of mead dry after the ordeal, Azar asked him how everything went, taking special interest that the Intellect Devourer's body was still down there, and promptly left for the cellar. He happily agreed to Durnan's stipulation that he could have it if he cleaned up all the bits from the cellar, and stored it in a bucket that Vic brought upon Durnan's bidding. He sought out Roscoe, who was writing strange notes from the King of In Yellow in a different room, and procured the Codex Monstrum from him. Finding another spot to do his work, Azar studied it, noting that it was somehow enhanced with different features, and extracted a particular gland from it, which in the morning he was able to sell to Danae for 60 dragons. After resting, Sardick went into the kitchen and called upon Hathor's bovine bounty, causing an angelic herd to congregate about the containers and result in a bounty of food that impressed Arlo's tiefling assistant. Once the party had their breakfast, Ara returned baby Varys to the Drow, and they prepared to go down the well again. Morn Blackwell approached them, seeming to dissuade them from going down, but instead requesting that if they happened to come across it, they retrieve his wife's wedding ring, who was digested by a fearsome worm-like tentacled beaked monster. Agreeing, they continued down the well. Progressing warily, half expecting an ambush by Red Saber, with Nevermore scouting ahead, the party came upon a sad sight at the pillar room. Janie was there on the steps, beheaded, along with a few Gloomstalkers. The juvenile Skull Hunters, actually just one of... Oh, the juvenile Skull Hunters and Pibble. Groin wasn't anywhere to be seen, but bloody footprints continued northward in the direction of the Undertaker lair. Though saddened by this, they decided to leave the bodies where they were so as not to alert Red Saber of their presence, and decided to continue southward to get Azar's belongings. Sardick and Midge, transformed into a giant spider, carried the group south past the pits, and the party discovered that it was a piece of jade making that elusive gleam in the room with the broken statue. Opening the doors once more with the key, they entered the ultra-clean, candle-lit hall, heading south this time into uncharted territory. And that is where we begin. Alright, so that's where we're at. So Ara joined Roll20, but she hasn't said anything on Discord or Roll20 or joined the Discord, so I'm not sure what's going on with Ara. But she'll probably come around at some point. So, we return to the dungeon at last. Does anybody have anything they want to say or ask at this point? Or are you all just ready to get going?
One thing, is this still on Sardick? Is he still affected by the Rune of Security?
That's a good question. I would say you probably haven't. It hasn't been 24 hours yet.
Okay.
Unless you guys spent a lot of, but you didn't spend a lot of extra time up at the tavern beyond. I mean, you spent a few hours and the time that it took you to rest. And there was a little bit of time between that getting on you and you going up. But I'd say you still probably have another 8 hours left on that.
Okay, that's fair. I was thinking something like that.
So we return to the dungeon. And you are all down there, just about to reach this T-junction ahead of you, when both Azar and Ara begin to shiver and shake, their eyes rolling back in their heads. And the sign of possession that you have seen many times before now comes upon them. However, there's no outburst from either of them of Valgara speaking. They seem quite passive and just sort of mindlessly following along. What do you do?
Can she only do 2 people? I thought it's just a one thing. Roscoe's gonna like go over 2 hours closer to him and like wave his hand in front of his other face. I guess in front of he's right next to both of them. Yeah, he'll turn to Azar right next to him and kind of like wave his hand in front of Azar's face.
He follows your hand with his eyes, but he doesn't show any other real reaction to it.
Well, usually when this happens, doesn't she make like a whole big deal out of like, oh wait, no, I'm a spider, I can't.
It's interesting, and he's going to kind of sort of go look between the two of them. It's possible, you know, the nature of spirits and such. I have a little bit of knowledge about it. Probably she was like invoking their names or something and sort of got it to, sort of blended together. Like maybe she was trying to, to get into Azara and sort of split herself up into 2, and she's not quite making a full connection would be my thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to be okay? Like he like kind of tries to pull. Like I guess he like pushes Azar's chest a little bit to see how he responds.
He doesn't really show any reaction. Hey, Manda. Are you here?
Hey. Yes, I am.
Hi, welcome. Yay. So, suddenly you see Ara blink and sort of return to normal. But Azar kind of still seems really out of it, and obviously still possessed because his eyes are white. So you were just very briefly possessed, Ara, and it feels like you just lost like a couple of minutes of time is all.
Damn it, Valgara.
Yeah, see, it looks like she's starting to settle in on him.
Oh.
Wouldn't doubt that she'll be making her vocal declarations in a moment.
I didn't have as much faith in you as I should have, apparently. Alright then, so we just hit this T intersection before we got distracted, but I don't think we have any distinguishing features either way.
Well, one moment. I think, from what I know about Valgara, she's more of a fighter, more of a barbarian, and that's kind of the opposite of what Azar is. I think you ought to gather around. And Sardick is going to kind of look between the 3 of them, and yeah, I think this is definitely best. Once again, nurturing mother. Those who are those calves that might be weak, might be slightly frail, make them beefy. And again, he's going to invoke aid upon Roscoe, Azar, and Ara at level 4, so that's the plus 15 health.
Nice, thank you.
Alright, tell me who you cast that on again?
Roscoe, Azar, and Ara.
Roscoe, Ara, and Azar.
Yes.
And that's 8 hours, right?
Yes.
Alright, so when that wears off, your Rune of Security will also wear off.
Okay.
You guys have 6 in your Inspiration Bank now, just so you know. And you're probably going to level up after today's session, because you're pretty close. So, ahead of you, the tunnel is strangely clean. Like it's been kind of well maintained by somebody keeping it clean on a regular basis. In addition, there are many candles, flickering tallow candles, floating in shallow niches along the walls.
How light? Sorry, more just like a mechanics question for some of Roscoe stuff. Is this dim light or normal?
It's dim light.
Cool. Thank you. And then is there any distinguishing feature between each path, or is it kind of about the same?
They look about the same. I mean, if you guys are going to kind of look around the corners here, I can show you what you see.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Alright, so you can see to the east, the passage continues just a short distance and then turns right again. To the west, it goes down quite a bit longer, and it looks like there's a junction part of the way down. But other than that, the hall just looks clean and dimly lit by floating candles in the niches along the walls. That's it. Nothing else. You don't see anything else special.
It's strange that this part of the dungeon would be so well taken care of. You wouldn't think that Alastair would have janitors or such in here. I mean, it looks like a veritable chapel of lights in here.
You're feeling unaccountably peckish.
Well, I guess there's all the whatever the play equivalent of Fantasia is, where all the animated brooms and whatnot can cause this stuff. So Roscoe's having like weird distorted memories from this. Is like, oh, this is pretty normal for mages and whatnot to have, you know, sentient objects clean for them and stuff. I think. Could be wrong though.
We used to just call them slaves.
Damn.
You know that you're not.
All right, so we just know that there might be another Xanathar outpost down here, right? And that Azar stuff might be somewhere to the... These are things we know?
Yeah, and we know that far to the east, there is the thing that lurks, or some presumably boss-type figure, and we know that somewhere to the south there is a statue with a hidden door that I believe has like a secret passage down to the next level. Are the things that we...
All right, Midge as a spider is just going to kind of scuttle along the wall and kind of move down this way.
Are you large-sized as a spider?
I am. I'm a giant spider. I'm big.
All right, giant Midge. All right, so she's going down the hallway. Is anybody following her? Where's Nevermore?
Nevermore, I think his sort of status quo has been staying about 100 feet ahead of us at this T intersection.
Ooh, he can go the other way.
Yeah, I guess if you don't mind describing two things at once, Nevermore can take like a quick peek down the other way to see just kind of if things are the same or if things are different as we go along that way.
All right, no problem. So, Midge, you're kind of creeping along there. You don't see or hear anything at this point. Are you going to go all the way to the corner? And look?
Yeah, she would go to the corner just to be able to look down.
You see another corner. And as for Nevermore, wait.
I guess Roscoe's probably going to need to be like kind of up here with Midge to compare the two sides. I don't know how far you want me to move Nevermore for this description, but he can move up to that little door area.
This is so weird. Do you guys see anything south of this hallway that you're in? Like directly south of where Sardick and Ara are?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Fog of War is
Should
being
we?
a little bit weird. No, you shouldn't.
Cool.
Okay, so so Nevermore is going down that other way. Let me just show you what Nevermore sees. There is a door to the north. A wooden door. And the hallway going to the south. And, you know, like, this is all the same. The hallway's still clean. It's still got the candles.
There are a few more options on the path that way, but so far going about the same, except for the door that we saw a minute ago. Which I guess is different in its own right. Roscoe at this point is actually like struggling to keep up with mapping both sides as he goes, with like checking in between Nevermore and what's in front of him and with the map and everything. And then the dead end up there, does there appear to be anything distinct about that, or does it seem like just the candles going down the side and still clean?
Still seems the same as the rest of the hallway. You don't see anything distinctive. I mean, you haven't exactly searched it or investigated it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't see anything obvious.
I guess it would be the first dead end that we've come across.
What's everyone else doing?
Ara's kind of like standing like here and kind of just watching and waiting for someone to decide what's the better option.
Sardick is looking at Azar / Vulgar and try to see if there's any sort of recognition that appears, but it seems like the voice of Valgar will not be forthcoming, so yeah, he comes out into the hole as well.
Alright. Katrin moves forward and she's looking both ways. She sort of seems reluctant to get too close to Midge. She seems creeped out by the spider form. Says it's really weird. Everywhere we've been so far has been dark and dirty. This has got light, magical light even, and everything's really clean.
You know, the other odd thing is that I think we're looking for a third Xanathar encampment, and this doesn't quite seem like what the Xanathars have been, doing as the status quo.
That's a good point. There's not really much, there's really no sort of shadow for them to really hide in, or that type of thing, as they tend to do.
Yeah, we know there's one more, and this is really the only set of unexplored paths. Oh, I guess except for farther to the east, where we were concerned that thing that lurks is. This makes me think we've got another, I don't know if it's faction, but something else at play here.
Oh, right, that bit about the hulking queen from the, that divination obelisk.
Yes, I think we might have heard something. Oh, no, you know what? It was the old man who lent Azar his clothes mentioned something about something that reminded us of it, I guess.
Right, Morn, his wife was eaten by something horrible down here, the wedding ring.
That's true. I guess it might not be that way, but we had, if we trust the divination, which I'm inclined to trust it with some reserve, I guess, that...
It could be. I mean, it's a nasty obelisk, but it seems that it wanted to kind of lure people in a sense by, giving it information, and then when they wanted too much, then it just took back whatever it wanted.
Such is the price for information sometimes. I say we continue moving in this direction that Midge is headed. And he's gonna kind of give a glance at the massive spider. I guess he's just paused, waiting.
Gonna give a thumbs up with four of my legs on the left side, and then keep going.
Yeah, might as well see where these goes. Yeah,
Fair
let's
enough.
not spread too far apart. Nevermore is exploring the other direction. I'll keep you all posted on what that.
Katrin says, I'll keep a watch on our back. If that's okay with everyone.
You're
sure,
fine.
just make sure Azar keeps up with us, but yeah, that'll work.
Azar just kind of mutely follows along behind Ara. Okay, so is Nevermore continuing to go somewhere further away from you, or...?
I kind of want to see a little bit more of, because we've only seen turns on this passage, I want to see a little bit more of this passage before he continues too far. Because right now he's found a few options for things to do. He's got this door and then what look like two things that branch off down there. So I think in this time he's going to slow up while we explore over here a little bit, and then he's probably going to head south.
Alright, hallway, the clean, dimly lit hallway continues down to another turn to the left. You haven't detected any traps or anything, Midge.
Any magic with detect magic?
Oh, these candles are magical.
Okay. Can I do an Arcana check on one of them to see if there's any significance to it, or does it seem pretty standard? Like, this is D&D. There are magic candles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do an Arcana check.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Is Is that the time to really do a natural 20? We'll see.
Well, you see that the candles are not actually putting out magical light. The light is coming from the candle itself, and it produces heat, but there's no smoke. And there's wax running down the sides of the candles, but it never drips off of the candles onto the niche, and the candles never get any smaller. They never burn down. So no matter how much wax drips down, and no matter how much the candle burns, it never actually gets consumed. And then they have a minor levitation magic on them as well. But you're also sure with your Arcana check that if you were to remove one of them from its niche, it would just become an ordinary candle.
Okay.
And you think if you wanted to, you could dispel magic on one candle and it would dispel all the candles.
Interesting. I guess I will convey, like, Roscoe's going to kind of be like staring at these candles and kind of just like processing this information and speaking out loud, like not really aware that he's saying his thoughts out loud, but just kind of like kind of slowly saying all of these things as he stares at one of these candles, and we continue.
All right, so what are you guys doing now?
Sounds unusual, but yeah, we might as well just keep going on ahead.
Yeah, I kind of want to see something from this passage before we move into Mod 2-4, because we have some options over there for things to do.
Midge would then just keep moving down this way, and it looks like this passage is either going to curve back up or it dead ends. I can't tell from...
Yeah, so as you look around that next corner, you see that it does dead end, but when it dead ends, you see a 10-foot tall by 5-foot wide mirror mounted on the wall, set within a carved stone frame. And carved into the stone frame is the graven image of a human, a bearded human that looks kind of like a wizard, holding a wand of some sort.
Midge gets real excited and clacks her little spider legs together until everybody else gets over.
What is that little plus thing on your health bar, Roscoe?
It's because of aid. It's how I set the hit points to remember what my normal hit point max is, but what my current one is. And I guess that's how it...
Wait a minute, how do you get a plus? Yeah.
So I have my current hit points at the normal amount, which is, or what aid has given me. And then my hit point maximum, I have 51/66. Just remember that, and somehow that equals...
Oh. So instead of doing like the overflow, which was real ugly before, that's what they do now? Hold on,
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
guess
move myself
so.
and see if that's the case.
Also,
Wait,
I think because I used an invalid thing, it says...
Oh! Yeah, that's cool. It's nifty.
It's so weird, though. On your token, it says you have 66 out of 0.7727.
I think it takes 51/66 as like a fraction, as opposed to me just being like using that as a tool. Yeah, Roscoe's percentages might be a little bit weird while we go on through this. If it doesn't bother you, if it bothers you, I can change it. But...
No, it doesn't bother me. As long as you know. Well, will it work if I like, if I like subtract?
Oh, if you're
If you
going to
took 8
subtract...
points
Yeah, I mean, the stuff on, like, the numbers on my sheet work. It's just that how it represents it in the bar might be a little bit weird.
Okay.
I'll just do this. I have it written separately what my hit points are. I just don't
Yeah,
want to
you
forget
should
that
still
and then
have
like go
your-
to level up and like add more hit points to that and like
Yeah. Okay, you could just have it in parentheses or something maybe, or I don't know what that would do with all the automatic sheet stuff though, so maybe not. So anyway, that's what you see, this mirror.
Is Midge up around the corner? I put Roscoe up here just so
Yeah, I
that
would
he
have
would kind
been
of-
in front, but essentially like on the walls. So I think people would probably be able to squeeze through. I don't. But she's on a wall.
Yeah, the ceiling is 20 feet high in this hallway, so...
Oh, okay.
Does this give off any kind of magic aura?
Definitely.
Ooh.
Let me see if I can tell you what kind. Conjuration.
Are teleportation spells conjuration? Would Roscoe know that? If I don't.
Make an Arcana check. Yeah, they are.
So it's either going to summon something like other mirrors, but that was more of an illusion magic, or it's going to take us somewhere, or bring something else. I don't know, to be
Interesting. Well, whatever I was expecting, I wasn't quite expecting to find this here, although I suppose with the decor it does sort of seem to fit.
And you said it had like a decoration of presumably Halaster on it, correct? Actually, Roscoe's seen at least illusions of Halaster. Is it?
It doesn't look like Halaster, but it looks like a human wizard.
Okay.
Wearing, you know, a wizardly sort of robe and hat. And with a wand.
Does the mirror image appear normal? Like if Roscoe like kind of peeks his head around, like he sees himself peeking around a corner.
Yeah, the mirror seems normal in terms of its reflective properties.
Does anybody have a plan for what to do about this?
Well, Sardick will kind of come up and look at it a bit further. Well, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, if it's like one of those in the Hall of Mirrors, it's quite possible that we're, already, shall we say, baited the trap, and if we turn to leave, something could just as easily sort of spring out at us. But, well, or then again, maybe it might not.
Ara's digging in her bag for salt. She knows there's none there.
Okay.
Midge is gonna point a spider hand, claw, whatever, at Azar, and then kind of like over his head, and then point at the mirror.
Oh, Midge, I'm so bad at interpreting what you say when you're in your animal forms.
I think she's kind of beckoning her, or to, rather, those experienced in the arcane arts to come forward.
Azar still seems kind of like a zombie.
Ara's gonna kind of grumble and move forward. She heard
Azar
Mara.
follows.
Yeah, now Midge points very vehemently at this mirror.
Ara's gonna look at Midge and go, "You know that really wasn't me the last time the Mara did that thing, right?"
Ugh.
It is rather interesting, though, that, we come across this, and, it seems to have, wizardly, arcane figure, whatever you want to call that, over there, that particular, depiction. But, and that both of you, who would somewhat fit the bill to it, both were affected by Valgar at the moment. I mean, assuming it was Valgara.
Nobody's
Ara just
touched
kinda
the
looks
surface of this
confused.
mirror, right?
No. Ara knows what Midge wants. She's just trying to begrudgingly
Act like
not
she
wanting to go
doesn't.
near it. Yeah, she's like,
Don't make
if
me
I
waste this wild shape
pretend.
by dropping it. Don't make me waste this wild shape. No, you know what I will waste? I'm gonna waste if the DM will allow it. Even though I already see Ara's icon moving, I'm gonna do it anyway. If the DM will humor me, I would like to use the giant spider's web attack, but instead of using it as an attack, I'm gonna use it to like Charlotte's Web and spell out the word touch, question mark?
Making actual letters with it seems like it would be kind of difficult. Make a dexterity check using the spider's dexterity. Okay, that's
Ooh.
really good. You're able to do it.
She wrote a whole sentence
It's in script.
in Elvish.
The thing is, like, the next people who come down here are going to think this is part of the puzzle.
That's
You've
true.
got some webbing on the wall that says touch.
Ara's gonna sigh and move up to it and put her palm on the actual mirror.
Well, now you've got fingerprints on it. I hope you're happy.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there's housekeeping down here, so I'm pretty sure they'll be able to deal.
It's true. Everything is still very clean in this area. Okay, so you touch it and nothing happens. It feels like a normal mirror.
I look back at Midge.
The spider looks very disappointed.
Spin another sentence.
Speaking of the webs and this place being so clean, does anything happen to the webs? Like just being on the wall or something?
No.
Okay.
I feel like we're gonna
there's no
fight with
other-
whoever's
there's
housekeeping.
No other magics at work on the walls or anything. Otherwise, Will would have detected it. Roscoe would have detected it.
Well, we found ourselves a mirror that has some sort of conjuration properties. Maybe this is what conjures the when it comes?
Conjures what did you say?
I said the help, but whatever is keeping this clean.
Mm.
I'm not sure what to make of this.
I suppose you could be right.
Can I do a history check to see if I know anything about this with like the whole textbook thing and whatnot?
A history check to find out what?
If I've heard anything about mirrors like this or anything like that.
Oh yeah, you do have the book. And yeah, so you can make a history check with advantage. Okay. Yeah, actually, there is a little bit in the book about this that you recall. There are apparently a number of mirrors throughout Undermountain, all of which are magical gates. The book doesn't know where they lead to, but it knows that there are multiple of them, and that each has its own special way of activating it. But that usually something about the surroundings of a particular mirror gate will give you some kind of clue or hint as to how to activate it.
So yeah, Roscoe like have a moment and be like, "Oh, this was somewhere in the book." He's gonna like reach into his bag, like pull out the textbooks this time, like give everyone a minor heart attack, thinking he's the King in Yellow for a minute. He's gonna like flip through the chapters, like kind of pull out the section that's kind of on these things, and kind of a little like sad that it's only like a little blurb in the side note that he remembered, kind of thing. But like, so I guess if we're trying to go somewhere, are we trying to go somewhere right now with it?
Well, we don't really have Azar here to stop us if we decide to go further down.
Oh, Azar followed Ara, by the way. He's standing right there, behind her. Katrin's hanging back in the hallway, watching behind and looking nervously at Spider Midge once in a while.
I will know, but at one point we decided that we wanted to stick around this floor for a bit.
Did you mention, like, the surroundings give a hint as to what... Like, did you mention all of what you knew out loud to us?
I think he did, because then he like pulled out a book and then started looking at the mirror again or something.
Oh, I wasn't sure if I disconnected or not.
Yeah, he would have said all the stuff that Josiah told us.
So, Ara is gonna move her hand off of the mirror, and she's going to attempt to prestidigitate her handprint off the mirror.
Okay, it works.
Okay. She had two motives in that sense, but only one worked, it sounds like.
Any change in the magic or the mirror or anything like that?
Nope.
We might want to come back to this when Azar is more himself.
I guess this does get back to a conversation we had before of what are our goals right now. If we're trying to go down, this will likely take us... Well, no, it will take us somewhere that we don't know where. And we have a clue on how to get down already. If we're trying to do a goal, then this will take us somewhere random as far as we're concerned.
I would say mark this on the map you're making.
Most certainly.
I don't see any sort of omens or anything that Hathor wishes us to proceed this way, so I don't think this pertains to my goals, at least for the moment.
I think this is a good thing to keep in mind, especially if we run out of other options of places to go. And it could take us to a room with fascinating things. But if we do have any
Or
goals,
horrifying things.
That is quite true. We are down here. Yeah. In some way, I'm curious of the unknown, but in others, I don't know that it progresses our goals when we have paths to our goals already laid out.
So, back the way we came.
I think we come back before we leave this floor. I'm curious, but maybe not right now.
Well, if we're gonna...
Or this could be a portal coming from somewhere else. This could be leading back to this area.
This is true. We don't know why or how it's so clean here, which could help explain.
Your book says that there are a number of different types of gates that Halastra's created, offering shortcuts throughout the levels of Undermountain. And as far as the writer knows, they're all two-way. You might need a different way to activate them at each end, but all the gates that this writer is aware of from the reports from different people is that they're all two-way gates to and from different places in the dungeon. They're not all mirrors. Only some of them are mirrors. Some of them are in other configurations.
I still think we put a bookmark on this. I think we have things to accomplish here. And if we're trying to go down, I think we have at least a hint at a way down that we know where we are at least. But if this is a two-way mirror, we should be able to come back. Which actually then I think we maybe should look into what's on the other side if it's supposed to be.
Well, until we figure out how to open it, we're just going to be wasting time here.
That's true. I say we come back to it. I don't think it's too pressing. And there's also the chance that we get to the other side and the way to get through it is not available to us.
Yes, that's true. There was that other sort of gate that seemed to be damaged. That odd gate that was a little bit north of where we saw that tiefling statue. But I imagine that one was probably different. There was nothing really mirror-like about it.
And that had some weird magic around it, didn't it?
Yes, exactly.
At this point, I think I'll have Nevermore start to fly south and look that way. It's like, well, I'll have Nevermore look a little bit around the other way. There was a door there we can explore while he does so. But I guess I'll just have Nevermore move down to this double T intersection.
Alright, so Nevermore is moving down to see what he can see. Okay.
Well, if we're heading down the other junction, you're welcome to go ahead. I'll stay behind for a moment just in case anything pops out over here.
Okay. We should stay mostly together. I think we don't want to run into trouble on either end of this. And if you prefer, I can have Nevermore watch this while we explore the other side.
That's fine. Whatever you like. Just as... Well, I thought I'd let the rest of you go on for just a few steps before I turn and such, just in case something decides to just leap out and attack us. I mean, based on what you're saying, it doesn't sound like that, but still.
Nevermore sees another hallway in the same configuration with the candles and the cleanliness and everything, and it looks like it turns to the south at the end.
All right. I am all for moving back the other way. Spite and Midge, would you mind leading the way again, just in case something pops up?
Yeah, Midge would start moving back the way that we came.
So Katrin, kind of runs ahead of you.
Midge is going to speed up a little bit. Like it's a game.
She's sprinting. She's using her cunning whatever that lets her dash as a bonus action.
Cunning action.
Midge is going to click her mandibles together as she scuttles along following.
And then she kind of
This is terrifying.
she kind of goes up the hallway to the north, hoping that you'll pass by, but you don't have to pass over her. But anyway, what's everyone else doing?
I'm just following along.
Sardick's giving the mirror a wary eye for a moment, and he'll let everyone pass, sort of like with a shield up to it, just in case something decides to just leap out. But otherwise, yeah, he'll go ahead and join the group.
Alright, nothing leaps out. Hallway seems very safe, very boring, really.
Yeah, I came here for adventure. What is this?
No sign of any creatures.
I'll keep going up to. Is that a door?
That is a door, yes.
Here, I'll come on this side of it.
Can I make an investigation check on? Well, first of all, any perception notices from Midge or detect magic?
Alright, so... Any... Wait, what? So
Sorry, did Midge notice anything with her passive perception, or Roscoe with his detect magic?
Let me see if there's anything magical about this door. I don't think so. Okay, how does detect magic work? Can you detect magic that's on the other side of a hard barrier?
Yeah, there's specifics to what material, but it can be 3 feet of wood. So unless this is a pretty hefty, thick door, I would be able to detect stuff through it.
Okay. You don't detect any magic on the door itself. But... you do detect... not... magic, actually. But you get the feeling of the sickness in your stomach. Very, very faint, though. Not as strong as if you were, like, near an Inlook Devourer.
Roscoe will do a quick investigation for traps on the door.
Alright, roll it up. You don't find any traps.
And then also wait for his group to get here before proceeding.
Oh, yeah. So Katrin will move up. To about here, watching behind. Ara stays behind Katrin.
No. I had to move my screen.
Okay. So, everybody's where they are, I think, now.
Okay, I'll actually bring Nevermore back onto my shoulder for this.
Okay.
And then
The door
before
does not appear to be
doing any-
locked.
there's a faint feeling of something, again, similar to the brain puppies and whatnot, but much fainter. I don't think it's that specifically. It's right on the other side of this door. So everyone just be on guard for a second. And once everyone kind of gives a nod or confirms, he'll open.
I nod.
Fair enough.
And then what?
And he opens the door.
Okay, you open the door.
And everyone dies.
Thanks.
Whoa!
What?
It's a door of instant death.
Damn, I hate it when we get the door of 3 feet.
There is a very small... well, not that small. It's actually 10 feet long by 10 feet wide. Sort of closet-looking room. The room appears to be empty, except for a couple of things. The first thing you notice is that... well, no, you wouldn't even notice that yet. The main thing you notice...
Sorry, you cut out for me at least. I don't know if anyone else heard, but last thing I
you
heard was
cut
the main thing you noticed.
Yeah, I just
Oh.
got that.
The main thing you notice is a giant ochre jelly in the room. But, Roscoe, you don't think this creature is what you're sensing. There's nothing far realmsy about this particular creature as far as your sense tells you. It's something else, something beyond the creature. But the creature is taking up a great deal of the space, and it's oozing and forming its pseudopods and kind of activating and coming into wakefulness as you open the door. I was going to give you the handout for this thing.
Lovely. Another sort of a gambler creature. Probably wants to play poker with us.
I don't think it wants to play poker.
Poker, I get it. So that's what it looks like. Sort of a yellowish blob, and it's coming to life.
In a hostile way or a friendly way?
Oh no, it's definitely moving, sort of pseudopods off of its bulk in your direction in a way that looks unfriendly. So it's going to be initiative time. Nobody is surprised.
Just close the door?
If I roll high enough initiative.
You both become aware of each other at the same time, so it's not going to be a surprise situation.
My initiative is going to have an additional 1 added to it because the spider's dex is actually better than mine. Okay.
Alright, so Roscoe's got a 13, Ara's got an 8, Sardick has a 14, Nevermore is he going to be doing something? Has a 21.
We'll see.
Midge has an 8. Patron has a 7. And Jelly also has a 7.
And you'll need Azar on there.
Azar has a 9.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
he just had a 9 from the last time. I hadn't.
Oh.
Yet.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
All right, so Nevermore could act first if he so desires.
You know what? I think, well, yeah, he'll do the. No, he'll sit. He got killed last time.
All right, Azar does nothing. Sardick.
Okay, Sardick will kind of look upon this thing and sort of assess the situation. And what he'll do is he'll go ahead and sort of raise a hand to it, and well then, if you seem to be intent upon attacking us, then feel the might of your incoming doom. And he'll cause once again the funeral bells to chime and toll as the dead comes for it.
Tolling the dead, huh?
I was just looking at that too.
That was
Like,
just a mistake.
Also, that is a killer initiative on that gelatinous cube right there.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a negative.
It rolls back around and it goes around before everyone because it just wraps around to the other side of the. No, that was just me fucking up. All right, tolling the dead. Wisdom saving throw for the ochre jelly, eh? Well,
Yes.
It's not a super wise creature. What kind of damage is that to? Necrotic? Okay.
Yes.
It does not succeed.
12
So,
necrotic.
12 necrotic. The creature makes certain glooping, glorping sounds as part of it is eaten away by this necrotic energy, and it's trying to sort of reform itself. Okay, what's Roscoe do? Or is Sardick going to do anything else?
Nah, that'll be it.
What's Roscoe going to do?
Does Ara or Midge count as threatening this creature from the 5 feet away?
I would say no with those corners the way they are. And it's completely inside the room still, so...
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. That.
Okay.
In that case, Roscoe will cast Booming Blade on it. He's not gonna get sneak attack nor advantage, actually, with all this. So it's just gonna be an Edge of the Mage Slayer with Booming Blade on it.
Wait, but isn't Nevermore technically threatening it?
We've had a discussion of like whether he did or not.
If he's invisible, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so if the creature doesn't have blind sight or anything, but if the creature does, then I guess
Actually, the creature
Nevermore
does have
is.
blind sight. So I guess it's aware of Nevermore. So, I don't know, is Nevermore on your shoulder or is it flying around?
Yeah, he's just on my shoulder.
I think if he's on your shoulder, he's not threatening anyone. If he's,
Okay.
like, separate, doing his own thing, then he would be, but...
Okay. Then in that case, yeah, it's just a normal attack.
Let's see it.
Wow. Still not. Wow.
Thanks, Booming
Okay.
Blade.
You know what? Apparently, sneak attack is a core feature of the rogue class. Who knew? And Roscoe.
That's 7 damage, right? Total? Nothing
Yes.
else adds to it?
Nope.
It appears that it doesn't do 7 damage because as your blade cuts through the jelly, it instantly reforms. Now, the little bit of thunder damage that bursts from your magic does seem to minimally hurt it. But the slashing damage appears to do nothing. Except in response to being slashed in that way, although it appears unharmed, it now divides itself into 2 creatures. So hold on a second.
Damn all the luck. Now it looks like the monsters are pregnant.
Thank you so much, Sardick. I appreciate
Monsters
you.
are pregnant. Nice.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to be like, everything you touch, Roscoe, splits into 2. What is going on?
That was the other thing I was tempted to say.
So, you've caused it to split.
So yeah, Roscoe like does this like slash through as like an instinct. It splits in half, and now we have an interesting question on our hands because Roscoe has a feature that whenever you make an attack on a creature, it can't make attacks of opportunity against you. How does that work?
I'd say it will apply to
Do
both
they
of them
both
this
not?
round.
He's going to have a moment and step back to right here, kind of behind Sardick, and I assume just because Nevermore's on his shoulder, Nevermore comes.
Yeah, Nevermore is on your shoulder, so it'll just go where you go. Alright, so yeah, you don't provoke any opportunity attacks, you can just back away. Are you doing anything else?
Yeah, seeing that did not particularly go the way he wanted to, he's going to regretfully cast. He's going to cast Shadow Blade, so he has it for next turn. Wishing he had just attacked with it in the first place.
Okay. Can you cast Shadow Blade and Booming Blade in the same round?
Yes, Booming Blade is part of the action, and Shadow Blade's a bonus. Booming Blade is the action.
It's a cantrip, so you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem then. Okay, so that's it for Roscoe?
Yes.
What is Midge gonna do?
Midge, seeing these things split, is gonna like rear back her spider head and go, "Pah." Oh, I guess this is not how a spider would actually do it. I guess it comes from the other end. But she is going to shoot a web at the one further to her, closer to Ara, in an attempt to restrain it with webbing. So this is gonna be +5 to hit. And miss.
Yeah, pretty bad miss. The webbing, yeah, just splooshes against the wall up closer to the ceiling. It was a poorly aimed shot, and it doesn't affect anything.
Oh, I can be okay. I'm gonna move over here to try to. I guess if I'm still on the wall or ceiling or whatever, if I move over here, I wouldn't like be in people's way if they wanted to shoot.
So, are you on the? Where are you, like in terms of elevation?
Well, I was on like against the wall, but there is no wall over here. So you said the ceilings were like 20.
The ceilings are like 20 feet, but the thing is that door doesn't go up 20 feet. The door only goes up 10, so you could be on the wall to the north of you, above the door itself. You wouldn't be able to attack them from there, though.
That's fine. I'm gonna stay actually then, essentially hanging out like on this corner where I would be in melee with this one, for sure.
Okay. Sounds good. And that's all?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Ara, what are you gonna do?
Ara is going to
You're not currently
cast.
threatened by that one jelly, because of the corner between you and it.
So if I move down, I technically won't provoke an opportunity attack, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to move here, so now I can see them both. And I'm going to cast this at 3rd level. The first two on this one right here. Closest to Midge.
Scorching Ray? Okay.
Yep.
Those both hit.
Alright, and then I'm going to cast the last two on the one closer to me.
Those both hit too. Alright, so the fire damage seems to do very well against this creature. It burns away a great bit of its bulk on both of them. So the fire... Let's see, you did 14 to the first one. And 15 to the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good job. That worked well. You gonna do anything else?
I am going to step back next to Azar, who clearly is not himself. And I'm gonna kind of snap my fingers in front of him and go, Valgara, if you're in there, you might want to do something.
Okay.
And that will be my turn.
All right. Katrin's turn. She is a little bit freaked out by Spider Midge, but she's not just gonna leave everybody hanging. So she comes running up. What's going on? What's in there? And she turns around because you can see you're casting spells in there and everything, so it's obviously you're fighting something. So she runs up, casting a disturbed glance up at Midge, but she looks into the room. Ew! What are these things? These are gross! Well, whatever. And so she's going to attack with her dagger. Now, one of these is threatened by Midge now. So if she attacks that one, she'll get sneak attack. So she'll attack that
Other
one.
question, actually. Is Booming Blade on one or both of them now?
That's a good question. I guess it's on both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say it's on both of them. So she'll attack the one by Midge. With advantage. Alright. She hits it with her dagger and deals 15 piercing damage, not slashing. Which seems to... She sort of punctures it, and a whole lot of its essence kind of runs out and just becomes an inert fluid on the ground. But there's just enough of it left to glob together and continue to be animate. I think that's all she can do. She's gonna stand in there because she's trying to protect everybody, so she's done. Finally, the ochre jelly itself gets a turn. So there's two of them now, and they have... This one has a big spider target up next to it, but that one was just stabbed by Katrin, so they're actually both going to attack Katrin with their pseudopods. So the first one does not hit. Doesn't even come close. She barely has to dodge out of the way. The second one whips a oozing, dripping pseudopod in Katrin's direction. And that also doesn't hit. She batters it aside with her shield. She says, "Ha! You have to do better than that." And the ochre jelly does not respond with any quips of its own, being an ochre jelly.
Funny how that happened.
It's Nevermore's turn again.
Yeah.
Roscoe's never gonna let Nevermore do anything.
I have resummons for him. It's just one of those. If things get bad, he'll join in. Right now, I'm not super.
Alright. Nevermore is just going to chill on your shoulder. Azar continues to do nothing. Actually, he does move a little bit. He moves over behind Ara again. And Sardick, what are you going to do?
Sardick will once again invoke, call upon the funerary bells, and he's going to go ahead and attack with Told.
Which one?
Probably the one that seems to have a bit more oomph to it. Like the one that's just about to die, he won't bother with, but the one that seems to have some essence to it, he'll cause the bells to attack it.
All right, ring those bells. Oh, it has to save.
Yes.
It does not save.
That would be 14 necrotic.
That is exactly how many points it required to kill it.
Excellent.
So, do you want to describe what happens to this jelly?
Though you were just birthed into this world by your own monstrous form, the grave comes for you. And the bells chime and ring forth in that small room there. And this peanut buttery essence of the creature just turns black and withers and just hisses, just this sizzles on the floor and disperses in necroticness.
Necroticness. Awesome. Okay. No more ochre jelly. You do anything else?
That'll do.
Roscoe.
So with how Midge is on the wall, Roscoe could step up to right here and be fine? Is she too high up or too low?
Yeah, you could. You'd be right under her.
Okay. So Roscoe's gonna kind of side up next to Katrin like as much as possible, giving a little bit of room for the spider, and go for a attack against this dude. And because it's dim lighting, it has advantage for a shot. So 19.
Yeah, you hit.
And then it's whether Psychic does more than Slashing.
You utterly obliterate it. Your Shadow Blade, combined with the thunder from the booming blade, just completely explode it into a mist of jelly particles that settle lifelessly to the ground.
Okay. Yeah. Are we still in initiative? Or
No,
if
you
not,
don't need to be.
okay. Does the Far Realms sense that was coming from behind them, is that a little bit clearer?
Ah, yes, the Far Realms. Now that the jellies have been dispersed and their massive bulk is not blocking the view, you can see in the room on the north wall, which is the back wall from you, there's a horrific looking text scrawled wildly on the stone in permanently red, sticky black blood. What languages does Roscoe know?
Common, Deep Speech, Elvish, and...
Oh, you know Deep Speech.
Yes. I figured
Well then.
that's like the Far Realm.
Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. That's what it is. It's Deep Speech. I had this whole thing in here. How about you could maybe decipher it using your book if you didn't know the language, but you know the language, so you don't have to.
It seemed fitting during character creation. I don't know why Roscoe would have studied it, but...
Well, you could have sort of been, like,
I can just understand it now.
mystically granted the knowledge as part of the, the book or whatever, too.
Yeah.
As your mind opened, an understanding of the most far realms-ish of communications became clear to you. And as you read it, two things. One, make a DC 15 wisdom save.
Yay.
I love making wisdom saves.
Okay.
Yay.
So
Oh boy.
you can decide how much of your personal insanity this adds to, because this knowledge is the way that it's written, the way that it enters your brain, sort of maddens you a little bit. It's a little too much for you to handle. So you're going to have to roll on the short-term madness table, as well as any points of your own insanity that you wish to add.
So that's the D100 for the short term?
Yeah, I have a short-term madness table in here, built into the... I should just be able to click on it. What'd you get?
Well, I got a 65, so we can either use a table or...
Alright. Does anybody have that table on hand? Otherwise I can try to find it.
I think
Just
so.
in the compendium.
Yeah, under
I think
madness.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, under
Short
madness effects.
Roscoe has vivid hallucinations and has disadvantage on ability. Is that anything new?
For 1d10 minutes.
Roll a d10. Full time. So you are now hallucinating, but as this begins, a certain piece of knowledge also enters your brain. And that comes from the secrets deck. I need to... Secrets deck. Shuffle. Alright, it's this one. So let me now give you the handout. And I'm just going to give it to you. You can decide whether to reveal it to everyone else.
Okay. So I think for flavor right now, from Roscoe's perspective, like as he reads this, like the sides of his vision kind of cloud over, and like the sort of first hallucination before anything like crazy starts happening is just sort of like that this entire room and like everything is starting to fill with a fog, so that like everything he has to walk through, like he can't even like see too far down the hallway. Technically, it's just kind of like there's fog obscuring everything kind of around him. He's kind of drifting through that.
Okay, and I'd say you're actually hallucinating and sort of seeing visions of the actual subject of this secret. Do you see it now under the secrets deck handouts?
Oh,
It's
I see some. I don't know.
It's the What Drow Fear one.
Yes.
That's the secret that you've learned. And you're kind of
a
bit crazy.
And then there's kind of like bones strewn about the ground for him that he's kind of delicately like tipping over. And then there are these kind of like shapes moving distantly in the fog that are like vaguely humanoid, kind of tall and slender. And that's kind of what's going on for him right now.
Alright, so that's what's going on with Roscoe. What's everyone else doing?
Sardick would kind of be peering into this cabinet and whatnot and mutter something odd about him. I think we're... looks like we're back to elvish phrases on the wall again.
Midge is going to position herself now over here on the wall to kind of keep watch while Roscoe does his.
Okay, how high off the ground are you?
Like 10 feet up.
Okay. What did you say Sardick was doing?
He's kind of looking between Katrin and Roscoe, like into the room, and he's muttering that once again that there's Elvish on the wall.
Josiah, this is with disadvantage.
You can't recall any information about that in the book. Never seen that before.
Okay.
Katrin is sort of peering at the weird writing, and she's like, "What is that? What does that say? Roscoe, do you know what it is? It looks like really sinister writing, and is that blood?"
Roscoe's gonna like kind of quickly like hush Katrin and like pull her like a little bit out of sight. Be like, "Shh, it's coming. Can you not?"
What's Ara doing?
Ara is vaguely concerned about the fact that she feels like she's kind of responsible for Azar because he's following her. So she's like trying to like snap him out of it, and like she's not like hitting him or anything, but she's like poking at him, and she's like, "Hello," and she'll start saying things like, "You're wrong about this. You don't know anything about that." Trying to like trigger him.
Nice. He still seems quite passive.
Roscoe's gonna kind of like use Awakened Mind to Ara and be like, "Please don't make any noise. It's just over there." And he's like timid, like he's kind of like if like the jellies aren't like too caustic or anything, he's like kind of like pulled Katrin like back around the corner here and is like peeking out a little bit.
He's pulling her where?
Like back into where the jellies are. Like Roscoe's like under it, but like he's trying to like get out of sight, basically. But and he's just kind of like muttering to himself, like, "It's there, it's there, it's there. Just be quiet."
Katrin sort of steps in there with you. She's looking at you with great concern, Roscoe. What's wrong with you? Are you going crazy? What's happening?
There are like beads of sweat like forming down Roscoe's face, and he's like looking at Katrin, not really like recognizing her, and just like seeing. I think instead, like kind of just seeing the bones and stuff strewn around, just to him, and just having a bit of like a panic moment here. But,
Katrin says, "Hey, there's something wrong with Roscoe. He's freaking out or something. I don't know what to do."
I was trying to decide if he's doing some sort of pantomime or what. Roscoe's like, Nevermore can watch for it. And he's going to move Nevermore like down this hallway a little bit. And he's just kind of like telepathically to Nevermore. It's like, "Keep watch for Miral. Just I'll bring you back. If it gets you, we're going to move this way." And he's going to sort of like take a double take on like either way of this hallway, and he's gonna like pull Katrin across to over where Sardick and Midge are, and kind of like beckon to Ara as they go. It's like, "Come on, let's just keep moving this way. We're being hunted."
Actually, I want to show you something else, Will.
Midge looks over at Ara with all eight eyes, and raises her spider eyebrow.
Like, "That's what the text showed me. The text showed me we're being hunted right now."
Look in the named NPCs handout section, Will.
Okay. Oh.
That's what he looks like, and you're having like little flashes
Roscoe-
of visions of him.
Roscoe, like having like starting to pull Katrin this way, like turns to face Midge, and then stops dead in his tracks, and like might pee himself a little bit. Who knows? It's like
Okay.
What is happening?
and he's just gonna like actually sprint this way for a ways.
If Roscoe starts running, Midge will also sprint or dash to keep up. She doesn't know what's going on, but this seems unusual even for Roscoe.
Roscoe's using the dash action. He's going to get around this side, and
Okay.
he's going to hide.
Katrin's like, yep, been there. Midge, could you stop freaking everyone out? And at this time, he's trying to hide for real. That's funny.
Oh
At
yeah.
this, so what is Midge doing? Is she chasing him down, or?
She's trying to follow, but I think Roscoe's got some rogue in him, so I think she'd be at least 30 feet behind.
Yeah.
Well, at some point he would have had to take one of his actions to hide around this corner here. So depending on how initiative works, we don't really need to worry too much. But at this point, he's kind of like just like pressed up against this corner and doing one of the things that they do in cartoons and just hoping they're just going to run in a straight line past him or something, just to see how this plays out. Although he can see through Nevermore, so he'll...
Okay, everybody's stay where you are now. At this time, Sardick feels something very strange happening to him.
Okay.
You need to make a dexterity saving throw, Sardick.
Okay.
Ooh. Sardick, you suddenly feel this wet, sloppy sensation engulfing your entire body, and you are pulled within a massive cube of some sort of gelatinous substance that is burning your flesh with acid.
Lovely. Okay.
So, here's the first thing that happens. You take 16 acid damage. And you are
Okay.
engulfed. While engulfed, you can't breathe, you're restrained, and you'll continue taking acid damage at the start of each of the cube's turns, not your turns. And it can move around with you continue to be trapped within it. On your turn, you can take an action to try to escape by making a strength check. So it's time to roll initiative again. Has everyone rolled? Ara, Midge, Roscoe. Okay.
Oh, Roscoe has disadvantage because that is technically an ability. Oh, I still had Nevermore selected as a thing, but it's his initiative.
Evermore's is 17, right? Okay.
Yeah, actually both Roscoe and Nevermore.
Okay. So, the first question, though, even though everyone's rolled initiative, is who even knows this has happened? Ara and Azar don't, nor do Midge or Roscoe, because it didn't make any sound. The only person who knows this has happened so far is Katrin, who just shouts out, something's happening to Sardick! And she sort of points in Sardick's direction. Of course, nobody can see Katrin either, because she's in the other room, but you can hear her yell that. So, Aura, it's your turn, but you don't know what's happening yet.
I can technically see Katrin from where I'm standing, though. Can I?
You might be able to barely see a little bit of her. I mean, most of it's blocked by
Like,
that
if she
corner.
pointed, like, her hand would have probably come out. I could have at least seen her hand pointing.
Yeah, so she said something's happening to Sardick.
I'm gonna yell down to Midge and Roscoe. And I'm gonna move up over here. Because last I knew, Sardick was down in this area. So what do I see?
Alright, so the creature is transparent, and it's very hard to make out much of it. But you can see that there is a vaguely cube-like shape, and Sardick is suspended within it. Sort of hovering off the ground, kind of frozen.
I feel like the first time I ever played D&D.
Gelatinous cubes are great.
I'm going to apologize to Sardick, even if he can't hear me, and I'm going to cast Magic Missile. 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. So that's going to do 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of force damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, the missiles slam into this gelatinous substance, and there's a sort of sound. And it kind of resonates, ripples throughout the creature, but it doesn't look to have had a tremendous effect so far. I mean, you heard it, but, you know, not a lot.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be like, guys, and look down the hall again for Midge and Roscoe, who I don't see. I do see Midge, though, I assume. And that'll be my turn.
Alright, it's Azar's turn. He's just going to move up next to Aura and call it a day. It's Midge's turn.
Oh boy. I think I'm gonna have to.
Now, what exactly did Aura say?
I just kind of, hey guys, Sardick.
So yeah, so you really have no idea what's happening.
Oh yeah, he's around a corner too. So
Yeah.
I guess when Aura calls out, and then we would hear the magic missiles, Midge turns around and doesn't actually see Sardick, so she'll move 30 feet back. Still doesn't see anything. So I think she's just gonna have to dash. And that'll take her bonus action. Can she be in the same square that Aura and Azar are in if she's on the wall?
Yeah, because you're up above them. So
Okay,
it's
cool.
fine.
So yeah, her turn is just getting over there.
Alright, I'd say you can look around the corner at least and see what's happening.
Okay, ooh, let's see if I recharge my leg. Nope.
I would say, having lived in the sewers for so long, occasionally a creature such as this would get into the sewers. So you've heard of them and have a general idea of what it is, even though you've never really encountered one personally before. So that's it for Midge, right? What was that roll?
So the web feature that giant spiders have recharges on a 5 or a 6, so I was just rolling a d6 to see if I would have gotten it back.
Oh, there was about 3 rounds that passed in between as well, so you could roll for all of those as well.
Ah. Yes, I do have web. All right, cool. That's it, though. I used my turn to move.
Is Nevermore doing something?
I think Roscoe's dexterity is higher than Nevermore, so Roscoe, I think, should go first.
Okay, is Roscoe doing something?
So Roscoe's going to think that his hiding worked, even though he had disadvantage on that stealth check, so it was technically a natural 1, so not very good. And he's going to kind of like peer around the corner and see this like horrific figure running back at his friends and think that that's the threat.
Ice crunch.
And he's going to have this like moment of courage thing where he's like, do I go? Do I not go? And he's going to start actually like moving up around here still stealthily. So he's at half speed trying to keep his natural 1 stealth. But he gets to... like about here, kind of like creeping up behind this creature, like muttering below his breath, like, "Oh, I'm going to regret this. I'm going to regret this." But trying to sneak up on this creature that is running towards his friends with his natural 1 stealth. So pretty much everyone, and that's his turn. Nevermore, I think Nevermore is not insane right now. So I will have Nevermore try and be helpful. So he has a 40-foot fly speed, so he'll have to action dash to get up. So he'll basically like fly up to here, still invisible. And that's it.
Okay. Sardick, the only thing you can try to do is escape.
And that is strength.
Technically, you could cast a spell if it doesn't have any somatic or verbal components.
He has nothing like that. Everything Cleric
Okay.
is verbal.
So, yeah. It's strength, yes.
Okay, yeah, Sardick will kind of growling within the sphere, and you can see his muscles kind of clenching and such as he attempts to just burst through this thing that's got.
All right, you managed to pull yourself free. So you can place yourself into a space adjacent to the cube.
Okay. Bilge water, blobs of bilge water coming after me.
Yeah, you're literally covered in this slime now. And it's still sort of burning your skin a little bit, but not enough to do damage. That did take your action. But you can still move or whatever, if you want. Or do a bonus action.
No, Sardick will just sort of get his shield out and just be ready and sort of kind of have it in front of him and just be ready to sort of brace himself against this thing when it decides to sort of rear it.
Okay. Catherine says, "Oh, Sardick, you got out! I'm so glad. Well, looks like you got something else to kill. Another weird, gross thing." So she charges forward to try to attack it with her dagger.
Just look
She
sharp,
does
it's
get-
bilge water that burns.
She's gonna... She's gonna attack recklessly. Wait. Oh yeah, she can do that, right. So she's going to attack recklessly. And she hits with her dagger for... Thanks, sneak attack. For 10 points of piercing. There's the cube. How does it feel about piercing? Okay. It's fine. She punctures into it with the dagger, and a little bit of sort of ooze juice dribbles out, but it doesn't look terribly disturbed by that. She says, I think this thing's tough. It's really big. Alright, the gelatinous cube's turn. Well, it's going to attempt... Okay, so first of all, it can move. Hold on, I need to read something real quick. Alright. So it's coming forward in an engulfing movement. It moves to here. It's not provoking any attacks of opportunity. And both Sardick, Katrin, and Ara all need to make dexterity saving throws.
Oh my god.
Lovely.
Oof. Oh, I forgot Katrin. Her dex is pretty good. Not good enough. So... Sardick, having been engulfed once, you seem to know the trick of avoiding it this time, and you managed to get yourself out of the way so that it doesn't engulf you. It does, however, engulf both Ara and Katrin. So...
Can I use my inspiration to reroll that?
Sure, yeah, you can.
Alright, get rid of that.
Ooh, still a fail. Alright, so Ara takes 14 acid damage.
Ow!
Katrin takes 11.
Thank you,
And you're
Sardick,
both-
for that extra 15.
Glad I did that.
And you're both stuck inside the cube now. So, your turn comes up, Ara. Actually, hold on a second. Oh yeah, that was its action, okay. You can try to pull yourself free, or, you know, if you have a spell that doesn't take any somatic or verbal components, you could cast it.
Everything I have is verbal and somatic.
So, another thing is, a person outside the cube, but adjacent to it, can spend their action trying to pull someone out, too, just so you guys know.
So what do
Alright,
I, a
never mind. Let's see
dexterity
what you
save?
got.
It's strength, actually.
Strength? Oh, that's even worse. Save or... Yeah, save, right?
No, just a strength check, not a save.
Okay, they're the same thing anyway. I'm stuck.
You do not
That's my
escape.
turn.
Okay, yeah. Sucks. It's a terrible thing about gelatinous cubes. Alright. Azar is...
That's why I hate Jello.
Azar is still doing nothing. Midge. The cube is right below you. Because you're up just high enough on the wall that it's right below you. So you're in melee range with it.
Sure is. Well, if I were to reach down and try to help pull somebody out, would I be making some kind of check, or would they just have, like, advantage on their next?
Crunchy ice. You would be making a strength check. And if you do it, you're going to take damage.
A giant spider is not as strong as you think it would be. Okay, I'm gonna use my action to bite the cube.
Okay, bite that cube.
Does a 16 hit it?
Yes. Wow, this thing's armor class. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that hits.
Okay, it's gonna take piercing and it's gonna take poison damage. I'm gonna type that out.
So there's no saving throw on the poison or anything?
It must make a... It makes a saving throw? On my thing, it doesn't say what... The target must make a... I would imagine it's con save. Would the DC be my DC, or would it be, like, the default giant spider DC? Oh, I'm looking at them. They're probably both the same, 15, I would assume.
Giant spider.
Oh, just kidding. So, giant spider is a DC 11 con saving throw.
Alright, let's see what happens.
Half damage on a save.
Alright. DC 11 con. Wow, it has quite a good con. Alright, so it's going to take half the poison damage, which would be 6, and 6 from the piercing, so it'll take a total of 12 damage. That doesn't seem to have any special effect on it. It doesn't really react in any way, other than to wobble. Giant wobbly death cube.
Can it really do anything other than wobble, though?
Not really.
Because all I'm thinking about is, like, Jello jigglers right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're, like, the fruit in the middle. You know how in, like, school you get, like, the fruit cup with the jigglers?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
That's totally what it is. Is Midge doing anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, Roscoe.
So, Roscoe is a bit conflicted right now because on one hand, he's hallucinating and seeing Midge as something horrible. On the other hand, he's seeing his friends engulfed in the cube, and he's also seeing the horrible Midge thing attacking the thing engulfing his friends. And I'm not entirely sure what to make of this, but Josiah, would you be okay if Roscoe settles on attacking the cube for the sake of the party without worrying too much about this? There's a lot of thoughts, and I'm not sure how to handle this right now. I could also do like a roll to see what he think is happening.
You can decide what you think is the most appropriate thing for your character to do, and if you want to leave that up to a roll, then make it a roll. If you think... But otherwise, I mean, I'm not going to dictate what your character can and can't
No,
do.
I'm just trying to decide how much these hallucinations are affecting him, I guess. And on the other hand, things aren't looking great for the group, so part of me is like, I just want to help without worrying about it. I think
If you attack
I'm
Midge,
going to
you get
attack the
inspiration,
gelatinous.
though.
That's the thing. That's what I was back and forth on. But okay.
Hey man, do what your character would do.
How about this, Josiah? What do you think an appropriate DC is for like a wisdom saving throw to kind of get it together and realize what's happening with the hallucinations going?
Just make an insight check. It's not going to take an action or anything. Oof. You're
Okay.
pretty sure that Midge is Mural.
Knowing that gelatinous cubes are a threat, but also being acutely aware of how much more of a threat Mural is, and I apologize, everyone. Roscoe's going to take this opportunity to do a pot shot in the back of Mural, and yell out
You've
for
still
his...
got your Shadow Blade, I would say, right?
Yes.
You didn't specifically
Yes.
get rid of it.
So he's going to throw it. He'll still have an advantage on the attack because it's dim lighting, but he won't get Booming Blade because it's a thrown thing.
All right, let's do it.
It does an 18 hit.
My spider AC?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How does
Holy
7
shit.
damage reach?
Wow.
Blew me out of spider shape. I'm now regular again, and I lost all of my spider hit
I'm
points.
sorry.
Oh my god, you did 27 damage? Wow. So
I'm sorry.
you also fall from 10 feet up on the wall.
Oh yeah, and 1 point carries over to my actual hit point.
And you take 7 points of falling damage. Because you fell 10 feet.
I think it's a
I think
1d6.
it's D10s. It might be D6s, not D10s. Hold on.
Yeah, it is a d6.
Okay, sorry. I think it was D10s in 4th edition.
The edition I never played.
You take 2 points of falling damage, and you are prone. And back to your normal size.
Cool.
Can she have fallen back where close to Nevermore?
Alright, make a dexterity check. Midge.
Am I falling into the cube?
Who knows what will happen?
I sure don't. 20.
Alright, you're fine. You managed to react fast enough after you're forcefully returned to your own form to not fall onto the cube, but to instead fall onto the ground in front of it.
Oh my god, in one fell swoop, things could have gone so wrong.
So, in good news, Roscoe thinks he killed Mural. So, there's that.
Yeah, good job.
It's great. A great
Do
news.
we get experience for that kill?
You did get experience for making that attack. And for
killing a giant spider, technically.
Oh wait, I get experience for a giant spider? Roscoe's running with this experience. That's a lot.
PR1, so don't get too excited.
You guys have 8 now.
But
in
you
your
lose
inspiration
experience for the fact that you attacked an ally.
Yeah.
Do you want to take one of those 8 to get your own inspiration back, Ara, since you don't have one right now?
That would be lovely.
Okay, so now everyone has inspiration again, and you have 7 left in the bank.
Roscoe's gonna bonus action remake his shadow. And I guess be a bit more confident now that he's killed a threat that apparently every drow in Undermountain is afraid of. But that's it for his turn. Nevermore is going to fly above Azar and take the help action for Ara when she tries to escape, if she does try to escape.
I don't know if I can allow that to happen. I don't see how that bird is going to help Ara escape.
Ara's got like a strand of hair on the outside that he's like pulling on the hair. I'm just
That
using
one
mechanics,
strand.
man.
Take my strong strand.
You can make a strength check for Nevermore if you want.
Alright, let's see.
That's
Oh!
pretty good.
Oh,
Alright, so somehow
Ara's hand was still out, so he had something to grab onto. How about that?
That makes sense. Oh, you might not want to do that, though. Because I did warn you, he's going to take acid damage for trying that. Are you sure you want him to do it?
Will she escape before the acid damage hits, if he does?
Yeah, the two things will essentially happen simultaneously.
Then
that's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so somehow, bravely, Nevermore sort of darts in there and sinks its talons into the cube and gets a good grip on Ara's hand. Even its sizzling, burning sound is made as this cube's corrosive form is eating away at Nevermore's feathers and flesh, and somehow manages to flap his little wings and pull her, and she comes tumbling out in front of it in a glorping, splooshing mess. But poor Nevermore.
Oh no!
15 acid damage.
Levels where he could have lived. Let me make sure he doesn't have resistance to that. Okay. No, he doesn't. Looking at magic.
How many hit points
so is
did
this
he
a
have?
magical effect by any chance?
It's not magical.
Okay, he's dead.
He died to save Ara, though. Very brave. Nevermore.
Oh!
So he retains just enough strength and life to pull her out, and then the acid just eats through too much of him, and he just falls. And does the familiar just effectively vanish when they die?
Technically, they get sent back to whatever plane they were called from until you're resummoned.
So there's not like a Nevermore corpse laying there. It's just gone.
No.
Okay, well, good thing you got those extra summoning supplies, huh?
Exactly.
So, Ara, you have to move yourself to a place adjacent to the cube, but it can't be occupied, so you actually have to put yourself back there next to Sardick.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, when I get pulled out, can we just knock Azar back?
All the strength that Nevermore.
Well, me coming out would probably have been, like,
And he's pretty
realizing what
passive
he
and
did.
No, I'd say it Nevermore pulled you out the backside. Because that's like where it could reach your hand the best.
It poops me out.
That's good though. It makes it harder for it to choose which direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to go to engulf two people, but which two people, we don't know. Alright. That's good. That saved Ara a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And it's Sardick's turn. He's not becubed.
Not be cubed. Okay, is Katrin still in the cube?
She is.
Okay, yeah, seeing the bizarre antics that are occurring is... What is this? What in the name of sanity? It's just a big blob of bilge. Just blast the damn... And as much as he wants to go ahead and just strike this thing, he's just going to... His seething venom, he forces it and swallows just the bile that wants to come out. And instead he goes, harmony, harmony. And suddenly, Ara finds herself blessed, as well as Azar and Midge.
Nice. Okay. So, this soothing feeling of harmony and the nurturing peace of Hathor descends upon you, Ara and Midge. And you may have felt this before, because he blessed you when you were down in the pit with all the vermin and everything, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you've blessed any other times, but it's a good
Yeah.
feeling. It's very comforting. So what else does Sardick do?
My Lord Wyvernjack, rise, smite this thing, ram this blobby pillar of muck, strike it down! And suddenly, ram's horns appear just from beyond the wall, from beyond where the jellies are, and just
Actually,
merge.
you can't. You can't cast 2 first level spells.
I
even
can't
if one of
cast
them-
another spell. That's right, even. Yes, okay.
You could only cast a cantrip.
Yeah, he says nothing like that. Instead, his turn.
Okay. Well, he can start saying it, and then it won't take effect until the next round. Alright, so it's Katrin's turn. She's obviously going to try to bust up out of there. She's raging. She's in a fucking burning, can't breathe, gelatinous prison. So she's going right into a rage. And she will... Wait, why did it say she only had... You guys haven't been in any fights since you came down from the portal, right? Until now?
No
Right,
fights.
there was nothing.
Okay, so I just forgot to reset her number of rages. That's her first one she's used today. So she'll rage, which fortunately does give her advantage on strength checks. So she'll go ahead and try to bust up out of there. Oh no, even with the advantage, she fails.
Wow.
Poor Katrin. At least she'll take half
Did
damage
she
from
get
the
the
acid
bless?
now.
No, she did not get.
Oh.
She didn't get the bless, so...
Besides, that's an ability check, I believe, and that's the one thing Bless doesn't cover.
Oh.
But she's got advantage on... I mean, she's got half damage from the acid now anyway, so she'll be fine. Alright, it's Gelatinous Cube's turn. At the start of the Gelatinous Cube's turn, Katrin takes... a lot of damage. 66. But, because she raged, and she's a totem barbarian, she takes half from that, so she only takes 9. And the cube is going to try to engulf some more people. Now, who does it want to go after? Ara and Sardick? Hold on.
No.
Actually, it can go after everyone. How convenient. Has just enough movement.
Hex.
So first it goes Ara and Sardick. Then it moves back to Azar and Midge. So
This
ev-
turn.
So first of all, it can only contain so many creatures. So we need to do Ara and Sardick's rolls first to see if either of them get engulfed. It's a dexterity save. Well, congratulations, Ara. You avoid it.
Thank you.
Sardick, you're back in the cube.
Oh no!
And how about another 11 acid damage for you, Sardick? As...
Oh my god.
Ouch.
That Bless will go by the way.
Oh no.
Oh, the bless is gone already?
Yep.
How many people or creatures can a gelatinous cube swallow up?
4.
Only 4 medium
Oh.
creatures.
Okay,
So-
great.
It still has enough room for Azar and Midge, so Midge, make your dex save.
You can do it with inspiration, so this is at advantage.
Well, you can decide whether to use inspiration after you see.
Wow.
Okay, yeah,
I
you need
think
the
I
inspiration.
should-
So yes, the inspiration saves you. So go ahead and move yourself back a square away from the cube. And Azar, if we get Scito's character killed by a gelatinous cube while he's not here, he won't be amused.
Well,
This
you
is
won't
the
need
price
stuff
you
if
pay
he's
for
killed.
missing.
Oh no, nothing will save him
Oh.
now. Azar is gonna go in.
He is
He's
under
gonna-
the effect of aid, though.
Wait, he's got the aid too?
Yep. Azar, Ara, and Roscoe have aid.
So I think his real normal current hit points are 50. So I think he's got 65 now.
How did he pull that off as a wizard?
I think his con is pretty high.
Oh.
His con is 14. Is that right? Should he have that many hit points?
It just sounds really high for a wizard. I'm a sorceress and I have less than that.
What's your con?
But my con's 2 less than his, so he
So
has
that's
2.
like-
He has a 2 modifier, so that might make actual sense.
How many hit points does Ara have?
43.
Oh,
Unless
yeah.
he took.
It's-
Did he take the roll or?
No, he didn't roll. No, nobody rolled. Everybody's just got the average. So, he
Oh.
has the right amount then.
Okay.
But right now he has 65 with the
That's-
aid. So let me just... I won't let me modify his token. Come on, Roll20. We're playing games. Wow, Roll20 does not. He does not want to let me... That's crazy talk. It's like, nope, sorry, DM.
You don't get any control of the character sheets.
I can edit anyone else's token. What the hell? Well, whatever. I'll just keep track of it. He has 65 and he just took 8, so he has 57. Okay, good. That's dealt with. And he's stuck in there. So now 3 people are engulfed. This is getting serious. Ara, what are you gonna do?
Ara is. Ara's gonna go Scorching Ray. And she's gonna cast it at 3rd level again.
So she's 4 rays on the cube itself.
Yes.
Sounds good. Do it up. Those all hit?
Nice.
$32 points of damage, it looks like. Fire?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
So you now burned and scorched a significant hole into this thing. And it's sort of melting this gelatinous substance, and it's dripping out and making a pool on the ground. So that's a good amount of damage there.
And I want to take I want to step back that far.
Okay, cool. Good job.
And that'll be
Anything
my
else?
turn. Nope, that's my turn.
All right, Azar. Will struggle to get out. As best he can. Oh, he has a -1 strength check. Okay. Oh no. Azar's stuck. Alright, Midge, what are you gonna do? You're prone.
I am prone. I'm gonna stand up. And then kind of like closing one eye and like pointing my staff, kind of trying to aim, looking through the gelatinous cube a little bit. I'm gonna cast Flaming Sphere on the other side of it and have it just ram into the cube. Ooh, should probably roll the damage. So the cube has to make a, well, I guess when it ends its turn.
Alright, so before you do that, realize...
Oh no,
that
if I ram the sphere into a creature.
the fire from the cube is hot enough that Katrin and Sardick will have to not take damage from it. Actually, hold on. That might not be true because they have... I believe they have total cover while they're in the... Hold on, let me make sure. They have total cover while they're in the cube. So actually, it wouldn't affect them. So, do you have a... What did we do with your gelatinous... Or your... We had a icon for it.
We did have a flaming sphere for a while. I don't know if it was ever saved anywhere. But because I am ramming it into the cube, it would have to make that dex immediately. And then if it ends its turn within 5 feet of the sphere, it has to make the saving throw.
All right. Hold on. Where exactly did you put it? Or I need to give you permission to move this thing.
It's fine where it is, though. Yeah, it would just be on the other side, like that.
Alright, you should be able to move it yourself now. So you create it, you ram it into the creature. It needs to make a dexterity saving throw. I have a feeling the cube is not great at dexterity saves. Oof. 3 dexterity, okay. It did not save. So it's gonna take 8 points of... 8 points of fire damage. Very nice. So you're melting away more of it with a sizzling sound as it pools on the floor. That certainly worked. Are you doing anything else?
No, I'm going to stay there.
Alright, what's Roscoe doing?
Well, Roscoe just saw Mural turn into Midge, so Midge must be Mural. So he's going to attack Midge. No. He's going to, with more confidence this time, seeing that this creature that had been sort of stalking the group is at least gone for now, and seeing an immediate threat, is going to run up, bonus action dash using roguey things, and cast Booming Blade, and basically using the Shadow Blade, like plunge this sort of like shadowy essence into the cube and see what happens.
Okay.
An advantage because of the dim light, so 6.
You hit?
Really? I do 27 damage against Midge, and
Well, that's still 18 is respectable.
It's
Psychic and Thunder. that seems to that seems to harm the creature as psychic emanations pass through it, causing it to break apart and start to lose its ability to maintain its form. The thunder also sending a ripple of energy through it, blasting small bits of it that sort of explode out and bespatter both Midge and Roscoe with stinging jello, but not enough to do you any actual harm. 18.
And then step back a little bit here.
Okay.
Actually, get a little farther back.
Yeah, a little more. All right. You good? You done?
Yeah, and if it moves, it's going to take
another D8.
uh, 2d8 because of whatever level of cantrips.
Oh, cool. All right. Good stuff. Sardick, you're stuck in the cube.
He's just suspended there and is just frowning, and just you see his muscles tense up again as he and tries to just force himself out of this blob of bilge water.
You made it. It's not a save though. It's just a strength.
He's not proficient in any way.
It's just
so.
a strength check. Okay, so it'd be the same either way. Okay.
Same thing.
Yeah, you definitely made it then.
Okay, so he ends up tumbling on the floor next to the flaming sphere. And that'll basically do it for him.
If you end your turn next to the sphere, you're going to take damage. Is that okay?
Yeah, that'll
Would
be up.
moving down provoke an attack of opportunity?
I mean, I don't know if he could actually, like, plop out over there. I feel like he wouldn't be able to.
Oh, he can absolutely make an attack of opportunity against you if you moved any direction.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, I imagine he can't fall out here.
Who can't fall out here?
Sorry.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not because of that corner, right? So yeah, that's the one spot. Actually, you could fall out on the other side over by Midge. You can choose any square adjacent to the sphere, the cube, if there's line of sight to it, you know. So you could pop out over by Midge, actually. So you tear yourself free with wet, squelching sounds, completely covered, even more so now in this disgusting substance. And your turn is over?
That's it.
Alright, it's Katherine's turn. She's still raging. She's still inside the cube. She's gonna try to get out. With a strength check. With advantage. Oh my god, are you serious? She doesn't get out.
Wow.
She does not get out. I don't know what the rules are for holding your breath. I'm assuming it's not going to be an issue for just a few rounds.
Yeah, it's more the lines of minutes than...
yeah, I think it's like minutes, like con modifier minutes plus something or whatever.
Yeah, so I think that's not an issue at the moment. So Katherine's struggling mightily, but she can't get out. Alright, the cube's turn. Well, Azar and Katherine are going to have a bad day. First one is versus Azar. He takes 17 acid damage, none of which he resists. Katherine takes 22, but she only takes half of that. And now the cube has a decision to make. If it moves, it's going to get thunderized. But it has to move to engulf more people. And that's what gelatinous cubes do. So it's going to take the extra damage. Go ahead and roll it, Roscoe.
Oh, that does not have the modifiers of sneak attack and an additional booming blade. It's just the 2d8 at the bottom. So
So 8.
It's just the 11.
It doesn't get the plus 3 either, right?
So it rolls 2d8.
The plus 3 is 2d8.
Oh, the 2d8s are the 8 and the 3. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
The top thing was because I have global modifiers on, so I don't think I sneak attacked on it. Question mark.
Okay.
But
no, the thunder damage, it's breaking apart quite a bit now. It's oozing out fluid many places all over its form, but it's still kind of globbily holding itself together, and enough so to attempt to engulf. So, Midge, Sardick, dexterity saving throws. And you're both good. You don't get engulfed.
Ah.
That's all the cube does. Ara, what are you going to do?
Ara is going to go for Her Scorching Ray, she's just going to do it at level 2 this time.
Those definitely all hit.
So 20.
20 more fire damage. Guess what? It had exactly
What?
19 hit points left.
Nice!
So you got it. How do you want to do this?
Alright, so I put my hand up and I'm like, this is so disgusting! I'm covered in jello. It's gross. And I shoot out 3 rays. And it just like explodes and puddles everywhere from just like massive amounts of fire that slam into it.
Alright, so this thing's bulk just explodes out into this massive, like, swath of sort of formless jelly that's coating everyone. It's coating Azar, Katrin, Midge, and Sardick, and some of it splashes on Roscoe as well, but not enough to, like, completely cover him or anything. And now it's just, and it's covering the walls, it's covering the floor, but obviously the creature itself is no longer alive. And Katrin
And then
Azar
I
are
start to
freed.
prestidigitate myself.
All right. Yeah, it's gonna take some multiple castings on that one.
Thank goodness it's a cantrip.
Yeah. All right. The creature is dead. Initiative is no longer a thing. You can do what you want.
Well,
Elsa's gonna like frantically look around and make sure that there's no other signs of the
As Midge is like shaking gelatinous cube scum off of her, she just kind of like, she's like twisting it out of her hair and just kind of looks over past the big pile. Hey, Roscoe, not to criticize your battle prowess or anything, but you kind of missed that first time with your sword there, didn't you?
Roscoe's gonna do like a deer in the headlights look like, what are you talking about? Oh, I hit it tint into you. And he's like still kind of like hyperventilating, like giving like this like sort of startled animal look of like looking around nervously like over his shoulder at you. That's I don't know what you.
Okay.
Did you not see it? It was there. It's haunting us. I think it's messing with us.
Are you talking about this thing? And she's pointing at like the puddle of cube that's left. No, we got it. It's not, I don't think it's going to be hunting anything.
He's gonna like turn over to like Katrin and Sardick and like are off in the background. I know Azar's not really doing too much. He's like, did none of you see it? It was hunting us. I killed it so it wouldn't get you. Sorry, I couldn't help with the cube earlier.
see what? What did you see?
This thing, the thing that the drow down here all fear. Muriel, it's a massive spider scorpion thing. I killed it.
Are you talking about Midge in her wild shape?
Yeah, that was me, and it was just spider, no scorpion.
It was,
Have you been reading your book again?
No, it's that thing was following us.
There was nothing following us. We were following it, and it was Midge.
Look, maybe you couldn't see it through all the fog and the mist, but
what fog
that
and
was
mist?
Definitely.
Midge is actually like, the more Roscoe talks, Midge is kind of like, well, maybe there was other stuff. He could be, maybe he's right, Ara. There's a lot of weird stuff around here. Maybe there was something else that,
Where's
for
the
whatever
body?
reason, only he. That's a good point.
It disappeared and
It disappeared and turned into Midge.
wasn't it holding you because you fell after it.
It was Midge you hit.
Yeah, no, I felt because you stabbed me really hard.
To be fair, it was psychic damage, not a stab.
Oh, yeah,
But yes.
you hurt my brain really hard.
It was. Look, I don't know what to tell you other than if you didn't see it, you didn't see it. But it's not here because I.
Well, I'll tell you, the only damn thing that was hunting us is this damn blob of bilge water. And that's what you get. How dare you come in and just shit in the middle of my blessing like that? It's just so rude. And he finds this crusty pair of pants in his because he's looking for something. He just sort of starts wiping just gelatinous glue goop off of his shield and off of his armor and all of that, and just he kind of walks up the wall a little bit, and just finally when he's done like just wiping them what he can with the pants, he just takes it and just flings it as hard as he can into the floor spot where the thing was last kind of animated.
Then we know something's wrong with Azar because he would just assume he was offered those pants again.
So, Katrin's trying to get herself clean, kind of futilely. She's got her water skin out and she's looking at it like she's trying to decide whether she should pour water on herself to get this stuff off or if she should save the water. And she looks pretty angry. Doesn't seem to want to talk, still kind of coming down from her rage. Azar, on the other hand, is like, ah! And jumps up, moves away from the remains of the cube, and is like furiously brushing off this stuff from his skin. What is this on me? Why am I burning? Why am I covered in... Why am I drippings with goo? You guys remember that from Ghostbusters 2? He comes out of being... And he's like, why am I drippings with goo? It's appropriate here. Alright. And he looks around. And you can now tell that he is fully possessed in the normal way that you're accustomed to.
Took you a minute there, Velgar.
What happened? What? I don't know what... What did you let them do to me? My new body! I just wanted to try this one out.
We didn't let them do anything.
Well, it looks like you had some difficulties integrating it into the damn thing.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate it.
By the way...
You good now, though?
He sees Aura magically cleaning herself, and he goes striding over there. The floor, however, in this area where the cube died, is very slippery. So... He's okay, though. He almost slips, but he doesn't. So he goes striding over there. What's up with the flaming sphere, by the way?
Oh, it'd be gone.
It's gone? Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop it.
Then he comes striding up. Clean me! Use your magic to clean me!
I'm gonna brush past him and walk over to Katrin and start cleaning her.
Nice. Katrin just sort of rolls her eyes. She says, just ignore Valkara. She has no right to make any demands. Thank you so much, Aura. This stuff is horrible. I didn't want to use all my water up.
Yeah, I
Who
know.
knows when we'll get more.
And Valgar, if you haven't noticed, your wife is back in fighting shape.
Well, of course. Good job on that, though, by the way.
I will do prestidigitation on everyone, including Midge, even though she probably doesn't care too much.
All right, including Azar?
On Midge. I'll save him for last. I'll make him suffer for a little bit.
Okay. Valgara's just kind of fuming. The things I put up with for you.
I'm gonna leave it so that like there's some behind her, well, his ear.
Okay. He's like rubbing at it furiously.
And as a
Using his
backdrop
rope.
to all of the prestidigitation, Valgara's grumpiness, Sardick will just have like this backdrop of, and never forget that even in the darkest of times, the nurturing mother's beneficence smiles upon us all. As he takes 10 minutes to invoke a prayer of healing.
Now,
Okay.
when he heals, that gives us back the aid, or the.
Yeah, that goes into aid.
Okay.
Aid is max HP.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody gets 15 back if you took damage. Catcher says, "Oh, thank you so much, Sardick. That feels really good."
Yes, thank you, Sardick.
You're most welcome. The nurturing mother smiles upon us all, even though there are dark creatures down here who would try to interrupt such a benign blessing.
So can we get out of the Jello aisle? No.
As the gel was kind of disassembling, was there anything left stuck in it?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
I played D&D once.
Yes, there were
Just
some
once.
things suspended within the jello. There are a number of coins, which once you collect them all up and clean them off, you find they are, you're going to write this down, somebody? You find they are 26 copper, 31 silver, 11 gold, and there is a gem, which is in opaque bands of red and white. You think it's called a sardonyx, and you think it's worth 50 gold.
Do you mind saying the coins again? I haven't pulled up the thing.
26 copper, 31 silver, 11 gold, and a 50 gold
Awesome.
piece sardonyx gem.
Okay.
A sardonyx gem. That sounds got a nice name to it.
Oh, like Sardick. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Katrin says, so these things, they must like eat away all the stuff on the walls and the floor. Maybe that's why it's so clean in here.
We found housekeeping.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. That would make sense.
I wonder if there's more. I hope there's not more. Because that was
I
pretty
hope so, too.
terrible.
It was. If I didn't have my sea legs, I had been queasy after the second time through that thing.
Really? Gelatinous cube and an ochre jelly are the same challenge rating? Seems like a gelatinous cube's way harder. So what are you guys doing?
Moving on.
Yeah, Roscoe is still kind of like looking over his back and whatnot as all this is happening. I guess after all the looting and the cleaning and the whatnot, how long do you think is left on his...
I'd say at this point it's pretty much worn off.
And he's not aware that he was specifically insane then, right? It's just that to him, we kind of like walked out of the area that was crazy for him.
Yeah, I mean, it all seemed
Right.
completely real to you, and as you remember it as though it were completely real.
Okay.
Which is pretty disturbing if you have evidence to the fact that it wasn't. I know all about that from my real life. Having memories of hallucinations that are indistinguishable from memories of real things. But knowing intellectually that some of those things weren't real, but even though in your memory they seem 100% real, it's pretty disturbing. So he might be feeling kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, that's kind of Roscoe's state of being in a lot of ways. So yeah, he's going to be kind of like quiet and more towards the back as we're proceeding on.
All right. So tell me where you guys are going. What you're doing. Is there any more healing taking place, or are you good on healing? Are you taking any kind of rest? Probably not.
Yeah.
I think we're okay for now.
Yeah.
I would say so.
How long does it take for a familiar to be resummoned? Is it an hour or is it like 8 hours?
An hour, I believe. It's either an hour or the 10-minute ritual.
We don't have that kind of time. Let's go.
Yeah, it's 1 hour, so this will be...
If you want to rest to summon him again, I'm not against taking an hour to let you do that. Ara kind of gives him like a sheepish, like, she'd forgotten completely about it as he was acting completely insane.
Roscoe is like, takes a moment, like, we can wait till it's a good time. Yeah, you can wait.
Okay. She kind of feels bad for like yelling at him that he read the book, and everyone was like, you tried to kill Midge.
Catherine says
I mean, he did. In real game, he did. But, yeah.
It wasn't a
Okay,
conscious
Roscoe?
decision.
Well, I've got questions, I'm sure of it. Well, I read the thing in there, and I guess things were happening fast, so I didn't really explain it. The writing in the wall there, which please don't look at it, it's not very comfortable, warned me of a creature that stalks somewhere in this Undermountain, and it's apparently something that all of the Drow down here fear and speak of in hushed tones. And I saw it hunting us, and it was like a scorpion thing. I can sketch it when we get some time. I can show you. It was here, and I do remember also that Midge was a spider, but it was also, I don't know.
So the writing on the wall did something to you?
Well, it gave me a sense from the Far Realms, as many things have been doing here, but when I understood its message, its warning, it hurt a bit. Well, not hurt, it makes you feel queasy, you know, like any other brush with the Far Realms.
But you're okay now?
I think so. I like, in looking at him, his hair is like pretty consistently a mess. Like when you first met him, he was pretty like well put together, like picture thing, and now he's like definitely bagged under the eyes, like red around the corners of the eyes, like sort of a sweaty, disheveled mess. Like his bag used to be very well organized. Now there are things kind of like hanging off of it as he like turns to shoulder it and keep walking and whatnot. He certainly looks more worn than he had before, but it's like, yeah, it just takes a lot, you know.
Okay. As long as you're doing all right, just let us know if anything's wrong with you, or if we can help.
No, I'll just be glad to take a nap when that comes around.
So Catherine goes over and, without looking at that wall in the room, she closes that door. And she pulls out her thieves' tools and she starts fiddling around with the lock. Well, it doesn't have a lock, but the, doorknob assembly or whatever. Looks like she's trying to make it so that you can't open that door. What are the rest of you doing? You have to walk very carefully if you go through the area where the cube was. If you try to walk at full speed, you have to make a dexterity check not to fall down, because it's very slippery.
Well, now I want to try. No, Roscoe will move slowly and cautiously, as he is wont to do, and join the group over here.
Alright.
Midge would continue just like scouting on ahead.
Alright, so which way is she going?
South, and then... She would... Well, Roscoe knows that this corridor branches off into, like, essentially two. Right?
Yeah, and he was kind of relaying that as Nevermore was seeing the...
But he just had Nevermore go all the way down to the bottom, like...
Nevermore went to the split and could see down the hallways we see, but he didn't turn either of the corners where the little compass icon.
Okay. Then Midge would go down and then turn on the first split.
Alright. So you see, so you're going to head down that next hallway all the way to the end where you can look around the next corner?
Yeah.
Alright. You can see that it goes down just a short distance to the south and hits another T-junction. Again, still very clean, still the candles in the niches, all that.
Midge, have you ever seen anything like that before? It seemed like you knew what to do against it.
The big gelatinous thing?
Yeah, that thing.
I've never seen one myself, but from where I'm from, things like that, just oozy, weird sort of creatures aren't unusual.
Is there a way to tell them we're about to walk into one so we don't get surprised by it? Like before?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I guess if we notice that a path is really clean, but some of them, sometimes the oozier kind of things are able to just like, gush out of a crack or something. It could like drip down from over our heads even, and we wouldn't know it until it was too late.
You know that based on your interactions with the gelatinous cube, that thing was so transparent that if it wasn't moving or attacking or anything, it would be very, very hard to see if it was being perfectly still. Like, you'd have to be specifically searching.
Maybe walk with your staff out in front of you or something, so that would hit it first.
Midge would just nod and then hold her staff straight out and continue down this path.
Ketrin says, "Are you going to stay in normal form for a while, Midge?"
I'll let you know if I change again. But for now, yeah.
Okay. Alright, then I'll walk with you. So she walks up beside Midge. If you turn into a big spider without warning me, I'm not going to be happy. I'm just saying.
Alright, that's fair. But also, please don't stab me or anything. Ha just kidding.
I'm not going to pull a Roscoe.
Wow.
Roscoe's gonna look like really timid because he still believes that he saved the group there, but like it doesn't know what to do.
I feel like Katrin...
in your memory, it is crystal clear that was definitely Mural, not Midge.
And I hit a good blow. Like that was like a motivated attack.
Yeah, that was a very good attack indeed.
Yeah, nice job.
Great job.
Oh, shucks, guys. Not the praise. Let's keep it coming.
I feel like Midge and Katrin, though, while they're talking about that, and Midge is like, well, I'm not going to pull a Roscoe. I feel like they're both just kind of like jovial and laughing. Like Midge would definitely laugh at that. As she turns the corner.
Alright. Azar's kind of following along a little bit behind Aura, looking kind of, you know, angry and pouting a little bit. Alright, as you get down to this next intersection, you can see, bound both ways. And it looks like it goes down each direction to another turn on each side. Everything's still the same.
All right. Does anyone have any suggestions? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
The one without the ooze?
Actually, I'm kind of curious if this end down here just joins up with that other side. Katrin, if you want to come with me, we can just go take a look at
It says, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so we would just head south. Like, Midge just kind of wants to, like, peek around to see if this is just one big loop.
Alright, so you head kind of over there, and you look around the corner.
Nope, it's not!
And it looks like it kind of dead ends at a sort of caved in. Well, a sort of cave in. I guess I don't need any more words than that.
No, I want to go back and see where the other one goes.
Run this way or go all the way back and down and around.
Like, come out here just because I don't know where this would connect then, unless this is a dead end.
Curse your thoroughness. All right, we will.
We're making a map.
We'll go all the way back and around.
Don't you want to go down and
The whole,
search
like-
for secret doors or something at least? Because there could be. We found a bunch of secret doors in here, right?
I do,
Okay,
but I
Josiah, wink.
feel like it'll bother Roscoe if we don't uncover every nook and cranny of these hallways. Let's just go see where that other one leads, and then we'll come back.
I don't have much room left on my paper, so I'm just, curious how that one, and we can look at this thing. I don't know.
Valgara Azar says, I don't have patience for all this looking for doors and all this creeping around. Let's just find something else to fight! Katrin says, shut up, Valgara.
Because you were so helpful the last fight.
All right. Let's look at this thing real quick, and if it continues on, good. If it's a dead end, even better.
So what are you
What
looking
thing?
at? Which way?
the
I thought
cave
Midge
in?
was going back the other way.
Yeah, we're talking the same one. Like to go back here and just like look.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Midge kind of just runs back over and takes a peek.
Alright, you go back and look, and you see... Perhaps not to your surprise. Wait, did I hit the wrong thing?
Maybe nothing happened.
It looks like a dead end.
Aha. Alright, come back. We just need to
She's
do
like
that.
running back, and as she's running, she's like, "That's kind of weird, though, right? That there would just be a dead end over there. Maybe we should go back and double check. I forgot to look for a secret door."
Wait. I didn't need that. Okay, now we can get it. Do we want to look at this dead end thing? Because normally the walls don't end. Down here. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, Roscoe's going to go down, hopefully with Midge in front to perceive things.
Yeah.
And then do an investigation check.
Okay. Make the investigation check.
Midge is gonna give you. Do I have? Yeah, I have guidance.
I mean, you technically have to make one for every 5-foot area that you're searching.
Oh no, for his investigation. Oh, is he making multiple? She's gonna give him guidance one time.
I get to choose when I use it, right? I don't have to use the one that's 27.
Although I could. How long does this last? Here, I'm gonna do this instead. And give you. It's like owls. No, it's like no. Is it the fox?
It is. Fox's cunning.
Fox's cunning.
Okay. So
How long does that
27,
last? Oh,
21.
up to an hour. Nice.
An hour, yeah, but I have to concentrate on it.
Okay.
How many checks do you want me to make?
3. Okay. You're pretty confident there's nothing here but a just big cave-in.
Huh. This is odd. And then no detect magic things pinging anyone?
Nope.
Okay. Big ol' waste of time, I guess.
Still, it's a bit odd. And Sardick will kind of go in and kind of take a look at it and see if there's anything specifically special about the rocks or anything like that.
Alright, make a being a dwarf check.
Survival?
Let's say wisdom, but it's with advantage. Oof. Yeah, you're not really getting any insights here.
Okay. Does he notice any sort of gems laying around or anything like that?
No.
Regardless, I mean, he has some mining tools. He'll go ahead and take his pickaxe out and kind of chop at it a bit and see if anything's like sort of hidden under any sort of soot or dust or anything like that.
How long would you like to spend doing that?
About
A minute?
minute, half a minute, just like in certain places. He's sort of seeing if there's any sort of like is it a vein of any sort around or anything like that. Just like in different, probably not a minute, but maybe like half a minute, something like that.
Alright, you don't find anything.
Okay.
Okay, we go the other way.
These dead ends. So much information.
Alright, going back over here to the east. Looking around the corner, you see... another dead end! That looks like it's been caved in.
I have this intelligence thing going. I'll make some more investigation checks, I guess,
Go for it.
around here.
Oh, wow, look at that one.
He has advantage. But also plus 10, geez.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got some crazy investigation. Unfortunately, it's kind of going to waste here, as you don't find anything.
Okay.
You with that 30 though, I will give you this. You are pretty sure these cave-ins didn't occur naturally, but the tunnel beyond this point was caused to cave in on purpose.
So, how long would it take to do like a running line of like Midge's perception and Roscoe's investigation sort of along this border, just in case there's a secret door here? Or would that kind of already have been happening?
Yeah, if you're moving at the sort of half-speed, cautious searching pace, then you're automatically sort of searching for those things as you move along.
Okay.
Which I assume you're doing, because that's what you would need to be doing to check for pits and stuff anyway.
Yeah, so from what we know, we're pretty confident there's no doors along here.
Yeah, you're pretty confident.
Huh. Okay.
Or if there are, then they were harder to find than Midge's 22 passive visual perception. Which most of the all of the secret doors you found so far, Midge was able to notice with that. So, unless this secret door is better hidden than any of the ones you found so far, then no.
Okay. Next question. With detect magic, is this at least a foot of stone? Probably. But
yes, it's much more than a foot of stone.
Okay. So we also know that Azar's stuff was supposed to be south, and there's no other real way south. I feel like we're missing something, if I'm being perfectly honest.
We can go back and check that dead end that wasn't a cave-in and see if there were... Oh wait, no. Did Josiah say that we would have covered that with our normal perception?
Yeah, assuming that you went all the way to the end, kind of just passively checking, then you would have seen it if it was within your... But you didn't go over there and specifically do any, like, investigation checks or anything.
Alright, for thoroughness' sake, we look all the way back.
I feel like Aura genuinely did just stand right there and not move.
Oh, she definitely did. She just kind of waited for everyone to go, okay, it's this way.
Midge, would you accompany me?
Then we went by and we're like, nope, it's this way.
She just stood at that like T-junction and was just like watching back and forth.
You're watching as Roscoe and Midge run back.
Just make one investigation check.
This will be his low one.
22.
22 is pretty good. You don't find anything.
Yeah.
Okay, more thoroughness. We didn't do it in this one. I'm also going to go after Midge just in case there's a pit over there. But Midge, if you would accompany Roscoe to this section...
Alright, do it again. 28.
28.
Wow. You find a single gold coin that's been wedged into a small crack in the wall here.
I really needed a
That's
consolation.
a pity gold coin. Don't take it.
I need some.
That gold coin for all your effort. Wait, you guys, you have this whole open space over here too that you should probably check to see if there's any hidden things.
You see there, it's another instance of the mint of heaven.
Wait, so we knew there would be a secret door near a statue to the right. Hold on, I need to go back into our notes.
Katrin says, what's the mint of heaven?
Oh, remember, there was that spot over a little south of that tiefling statue where, we went to that one alcove and all of a sudden just, there were shards and nibs coming out of it, just sort of raining down, like pennies from heaven. I think it's really more aligned toward the faith of Joaquin, but still, You know, at
Catherine
least
just
it's a beneficent thing.
She just sort of smiles and just pats Sardick on the head. Okay, Sardick, thanks for explaining that.
You're very welcome.
I can imagine she looks down at Ara and goes, I thought you guys fixed him.
Roscoe is going to have a moment of like crazy. This time, not at all inspired by his book, but maybe a little bit. Who knows? And he's gonna like pull out his like extensive notes on something. Cough, cough. Thanks, Knox. And so, look, I know somewhere south of where that obelisk is, there's a secret door, beyond which there's like a two-headed king, and there's a passage downward from there, south of the thing. There's got to be a secret door somewhere south.
Azar says, "Boring! I thirst for battle! Come forth, foes!" Yelling at the top of his lung down the hallway.
Does it ever get tiring fighting yourself?
Who'd you ask that to?
Volgara.
Wait, what do you mean? I don't fight myself.
Are you sure?
The only person I fight with is my dear little wifey, who seems to have forgotten the basis of our marriage. Katrin says, "Oh no, we're not going into this again. Just stop. Don't make me force you back into the shield." "No, I don't think you can do that. I've done it before." "Well, alright. Whatever." Azar goes tromping off down the hallway in front of everyone, sulking.
At this point, Roscoe's like on the ground with the map entirely out, and he's like marked like 3 different places that seem like statistically possible places for southern secret doors to be facing based on his calculations. So here's my thought. So like we're going like a long ways over here. Where we originally found Scito's Revenant, south
Halethgark.
Halethgark.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror room, but it was a 5-foot walk, so Mitch probably would have seen it, or we're just probably not going to find it if it is there. Or all the way up where there was that path eastward could maybe connect downward farther. Roscoe says crazily, like, there's got to be a thing. We saw the vision from the obelisk. There's a passage south at some and he's kind of like rambling at this point, and then like picks up everything. It's, okay, come on, let's go.
Well, we know that the mirror transports or can transport us to anywhere. That doesn't necessarily mean it would transport us to another level of this dungeon. It might just take us somewhere we can't access from here, but on this.
That's true as well.
According to your book, Roscoe, the gates in Undermountain, the magical gates, go between levels. That's what it says.
Okay.
I stand corrected.
Roscoe like annoyed, like, no, of course it's in the. Didn't you read the first textbook on the Undermountain before coming down here? He's like getting frustrated at this point, with himself most.
The book itself contains the disclaimer that it cannot be considered infallible, as it's based on incomplete and often changing information. So anything it says in the book can be wrong.
Did we check this hall for secret messages?
Yeah, because you guys went all the way down to the end and you were in half-speed mode, you checked everything as well as Midge's 22 would notice, which has, been enough so far. I mean, if you want to go make some investigation checks as well, you can, but...
oh no, I just thought it was hilarious, and I was kind of hoping they would go back down that hall just to...
I think Roscoe's next
Roscoe's
plan
craze.
is... This is Will's craze, not Roscoe's craze. But yeah, my next plan is search the bottom side of the Halethgark room.
Here's
try
the
and
other
just
issue.
excavate a tunnel.
Do we want to go back towards that same pit that the revenant that wants us dead is in? Isn't it somewhere around this
True.
area?
He'll know we're closer, but it's this one up here, I believe. Or no, it's this one that he's in. Roscoe knows he fell in it.
Just don't mention it to Valgar. She'll want to jump in and fight the damn thing.
Wasn't planning on it. But we should probably move.
Yeah, I think either the mirror or swoop like down this way next, just to like give a good look to all of these walls here, and then we can head back up. I'm pointing at things off to the side, but basically go back to the Halfgark room is my suggestion.
But we still have this and this up here.
Yeah, I think that's the next destination if we don't find a secret door along there. But we need to be careful because the further east we go, we're looking over by the obelisk and where there was that like crawl passage, and then the rats.
That is
there's
places you haven't gone.
There's literally like a block of area that has places we haven't looked.
And there's a couple areas directions you didn't go from the air elemental room, yeah. Because you found a secret door in that room, but you didn't open it.
Yeah, we decided not to because we were distracting ourselves from going back up.
Yeah, so that's a lot of potential areas you can still explore, and that's not even talking about the north half of the map,
which we haven't really touched.
Okay. Well, unless anyone objects, I think we head back to the Halfgark room.
So you're going there in what's your sort of marching order as you tromp over there? Midge and Katrin in front, I assume?
Yep.
Roscoe can be like backseat driving, like, okay, this.
Azar's going out like ahead of the party unless you convince him not to.
I don't want to babysit Velgar anymore.
Velgar, please, you're not in your normal fighting boss. Please just wait with us. We are going.
Oh, well...
Just feel your biceps real quick. It's not what you want it to be.
This body does feel weak, but I command great magic. I want to use it on something. But
I don't think he has his book.
Whatever, I don't want to walk next to her. So he walks a step back behind Ara. So you guys proceed in that formation. All the way back over to the Halfgark room. The map room with the big side view cutaway map on the wall. If you guys remember.
Don't go pushing buttons.
Roscoe looks longingly at it, but he's
Don't do it.
I'm not sure if anybody was... I'm not sure if anybody was possessed when you guys came to this room, and thus hasn't actually seen it. But
I don't think any of us were.
Here. Along with some buttons, at least one of which you tried to push.
Two of which, actually.
Two, okay.
Yeah, I think actually...
Do you good?
Midge was possessed when we came into the room. A session ended, started up again, which is when we pulled Halfgark out of the pit, and then Midge came back into herself in this room.
Okay. Thank you, great chronicler of the sessions.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I guess Midge and Roscoe, if you don't mind joining again, can go check out this southern wall here.
All right. Looks normal.
The whole stretch of it walking through.
By the way, now that you're out of the candlelit hall, what are you guys doing in terms of light sources, if any? Katrin's got her glowing shield, but that doesn't put out a lot of light.
Ara's got dark vision.
I think Azar has dark vision because of his familiar.
I think he's a half elf, isn't he?
No, he's...
He's human. But wouldn't he had like some sort of like revisional type seeing since he lived in the Underdark for so long?
I don't think it really worked that way, but...
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if he lived there for so long, wouldn't have his eyes adjusted to like that darkness? Maybe not dark vision wise or even superior dark vision, but some sort of like being able to see like 30 feet in front of him in the dark or something.
Plus, most places in a Drow city aren't actually dark. They're usually dimly lit by fairy fire. Because the Drow use things as slaves that can't see in the dark sometimes. And plus, I think they just like it. The fairy fire looks cool, so they permanently put it on all the buildings and stuff.
Fair enough.
So I would say... No, he doesn't. But I believe he told me that he gets a benefit from his particular familiar that gives him dark vision. I'm pretty sure.
That sounds, yeah, that sounds like what I heard.
So anyway, I guess it's just Katrin's shield then is the only actual light. Which is fine. So what do you guys... what are you guys doing?
So if we swept this whole wall area, then I say we head back up here and we pick one of these unexplored areas up by the obelisk.
So do you want to make some checks?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So it looks normal to Midge. How many checks would it take Roscoe to kind of like check out this whole wall?
I'd say 10 to check out the entire southern wall.
Ooh, okay, let's do this. Actually, I'm just going to roll 10d20 and... so each of those are with plus 10 on it. So it's 28, 12, 14, 24.
But you also have advantage on all these, right?
Oh, if I still do, then I'll just roll it 10 times if you don't mind the reroll.
Well, just roll 10d20 again, and then we'll have the two sets.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. Your best roll was an 18. That was on the very first place to the south. And then you went from there. Well, I can tell you that you didn't find anything with any of those rolls. If Midge wants to make any active perception rolls, she can.
Sure. How many would I have to make?
If you're searching the whole wall like he did, you'd have to make 10.
Okay.
Just roll
Crazy.
10d20 like you did.
Just bear with me.
16 was my highest. Oh, I have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight.
Yes, you do. So you can roll them all again.
Did you guys-
A couple of 20s.
Can I just point out that she didn't put her modifiers either?
Yeah,
Oh,
but we,
yeah.
we can just add her modifier,
Oh.
manually.
To the highest
Basically-
one, yeah.
Josiah knows which one matters if one does matter, so he can just pick that one and add the modifier. If one matters.
So, on your fourth one there, Midge, which is the wall directly south of Roscoe, you just get a feeling that there's something weird about this wall, but you can't actually find anything. You can't find anything definitive, actual evidence of a secret door, but you just get a sense, a sort of intuition, that this wall is not 100% right.
Call me crazy, but something is off about this part of the wall. And she's pointing at a wall that looks like all the rest of the wall.
Midge, you literally saved my sanity. Everyone calls me crazy all the time. Holy crap.
Ara just kind of looks at both of them and says, out of the two of you, I wouldn't call you crazy.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Katrin says, hey, we don't have to call anybody crazy. That's not very nice. Well,
I look at Katrin and go, hi, I'd like to introduce you to Roscoe.
What?
Oh, no, they've already met. Come on.
He has a very creative mind that gets a little too creative sometimes.
That's how you want to put it, okay. And Ara just like gives her a thumbs up and smiles.
So, can we just like take more time to look at that section of wall that Midge identified? Or should we just have Sardick knock it down with his pick?
Knock it down. Knock it down.
Do you really think there's something about that wall and as opposed to the rest of them?
Yeah, I'm certain it's this one.
You're pretty sure. I mean, it's just a weird sense, like almost like a sixth sense, because to the best of all of your real senses, there's definitely nothing there. But somehow your years in the sewers and your elven heritage and the eyes, the magical eyes, well, it's not actual eyes for you, it's your crystal thing, but somehow that just makes you feel like there should be something there. But as far as you can tell, there really isn't.
Yeah, I don't see anything here. Sardick, do you want to just knock it down?
Well, maybe not something so brutish as that, but... Seekers of the Stampede. If the door is unlocked, if it even is a door, then let it be ajar!
That doesn't do anything.
Are you really sure that... I don't think it's a door at all. Unless it's, like, bolted or something.
Well,
Sorry,
it's not quite a door. But it should be a door. You know what I mean? Like it's not just a wall. That much is certain. But
Now
You
you're
mean
speaking
like
my
a-
language.
also not a door.
Like a future door, like a door that isn't there yet, but sometime in the future will have become a door.
Sure. Yes.
Sardick will kind of take his sledgehammer and he'll knock on the wall next to him where he's at, and then he'll knock on the wall that Midge has indicated and such, just to kind of hear if it's a different sound.
Sounds exactly the same.
I don't really get any sort of sense, but yeah, if you really think this is the way, well, sure, I'll have it. And Sardick will take his sledgehammer and he'll just start really wailing into it.
Alright, before you even strike it for the very first time, you see the dust from the floor and on the walls start to congeal and spread itself against the wall in front of you. And you've seen this phenomenon before. What do you do?
So Sardick would have noticed this, and he'll look at it and go, "There's something definitely not right here." And he'll go ahead and he'll take a step back, and he'll look at this sort of appraisingly.
All right, so the dust sort of paints itself very thick across one swath of the wall, and all of a sudden you see the dust being cleared away as though someone is dragging a finger through it, making letters. And it just says this: "Seek the Green Throne." What do you guys do?
Sardick looks at this and frowns. Green Throne, is that thing that Volo was trying for us to find?
I think that's down a layer to. Well, it's on the third floor, I believe. It does bring back imagery of the Hoofed King and the crowns and the things from our vision before. It's possible. So it says to kill the Hulking Queen, and that will give us liberation. Which means maybe once she's dead, this in the future will become the passage. Hard to say for sure, I guess. But maybe we just keep going for now.
Well, this is rather auspicious. And Sardick will kind of think to himself, well, I mean, if it's a green throne we're seeking, I mean, I could try doing something to expedite the process.
And the dust on the wall all just sort of falls away back to its normal position, and the letters are gone.
I will say, if we're going to move any farther east of here, I would like to rest first, just so that we're all top shape that we can be, because we know that there's a very powerful creature in it.
Malgara Azar says, "That's what I like to hear! A powerful creature! Let us slay it!" Katrin says, "Yeah, a rest isn't a bad idea. Yeah, I think you're right."
Are you all good with a short rest then?
Works for me.
Fair enough. Maybe there's going to even be some more words if we wait here. Who knows?
That felt pretty final.
So is this the room you're going to do the rest in?
I'm fine with it. Does anyone have a reason not to? I mean, I like it more than most of the other rooms that we've been to, unless we want to go back to the rat room. And
No, I'm good.
Sure, this room does seem kind of a bit more defensible.
Close the doors, I assume.
Yeah.
yeah.
Alright, show me where everybody's going to be as you take this rest.
Roscoe will like have his back up against this wall and do summoning never.
This is a door, right?
It is a door.
Do we shut all the doors, guys?
Yeah.
I think so.
Katrin just kind of looks around nervously. And she comes all the way down here. Once again, takes off all of her stuff, piles it right in the corner, and then, like, sits down on top of it. Kind of curls up into a ball. And, Valgara says, well, we could, you know, curl up a little, like old times, cuddle. Katrin whips out her dagger and points it at Azar's throat. Get away from me. Valgara Azar says, well, fine! Be that way. I was just trying to be nice. and he goes over to the other corner and sits down. So that's it. Everybody's going to take a 1 hour rest at this point?
Yes.
All right. Do not apply any benefits of resting yet. Don't spend any hit dice. Don't do anything else because your rest is interrupted. As you begin, well, I mean, some time passes, and if you guys are having any conversation during this rest, you know, feel free to converse as you would. If anybody has anything they want to say to anybody.
Roscoe's going to be summoning his familiar, so he's going to be kind of busy.
How long does that take?
An hour, so it will fit into the rest, but he won't get the rest.
Oh, it takes the whole rest. Okay.
From
what
across.
happens if that gets interrupted in the middle?
I don't know. I don't know if it's specifically said. I would think that the components aren't consumed. Well, let me check when components are consumed. If that's
okay. Unless you find out otherwise, I would say they're not consumed until the end of the ritual. So nothing particular will happen other than your time being wasted.
Yeah.
So yeah, is anybody else saying anything?
From across the room, Midge is going to be like casually saying to Katrin, just like, spiders really have a bad reputation. They're not actually scary. They're actually extremely helpful, even among people. Spiders, eat other insects. They kind of just keep everything in balance. And she's just going on about how cool spiders are.
Katrin whips her dagger out again and points it at Midge's direction. No! Spiders are bad. Just let me rest. Don't fill my head with things that are disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody else saying anything?
No, Sardick sort of watches the interaction between Valgar and Katrin, and he sort of looks appraisingly at Azar / Valgar, looking between them, and just sort of frowns to himself and considers himself deep in thought. That's about it.
Okay, so great. Roscoe's summoning, everybody else is just kind of resting, and
Yep.
yeah, about 20 minutes into the rest. Hold on, let me look at your perceptions real quick. Okay. Sardick, you think you hear a faint sound, some kind of rustling or something on the other side of the westernmost door. And just as you're trying to kind of piece together whether you're actually hearing something or imagining it, that door bursts open. Midge is too far away to have heard it, and nobody else has good enough perception, so the door bursts open, and into the room pour a pack. You don't know how many exactly. It seems like quite a few of them are spilling into the room from the hallway. A pack of creatures, foul-smelling creatures, which look like this.
Oh, yay.
Their mouths are
Okay.
covered with blood, and they have blood all over themselves, and they have like bits of flesh sort of stuck to their faces and their clawed hands. And well, Sardick, you're certain at least that these are undead without even having to make any rolls. And they come pouring into the room, and that is where we'll stop for tonight.
Ooh.
Which door did they come out of, by the way? You broke up a little bit.
The westernmost door.
Okay.
So, yep. We'll see what happens. We'll end it on this little cliffhanger here. Let's see if you leveled up. The session is now over. Oh, so I'll end my YouTube episode here. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Beneath the Yawning Portal, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Josiah Plays Dungeons and Dragons. We'll see you next time.